What up? What up? What up, world? We are back. I'm Anthony, aka Rasta. This is Get Right Fantasy Network. Sorry about my light situation. We got a new one coming, but happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. Um, I got no co-host tonight with me, just me solo. But it's never just me. It's me and all of you guys out there in Get Right Land. So appreciate you joining me here. We got Warrior in the house saying, "What's up, bro? How's it going, man? Happy Thanksgiving." We got Martin in the house too. Technically wasn't first. He was probably thumbing it out. But what up, Martin? If you want to come in here and join me, man, let me know. Even if you only want to stay for a bit, I want to make it a quick show. But it's there. Loving the hat. That's a first for me here, Warrior. Um, most of the time, everyone's trying to tell me to take it off, but appreciate it, man. Go Niners, as you guys all know. And again, just happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. So, welcome to the Wednesday show. Normally, it's the Rasta Management show, but tonight, I mean, trade deadlines. Maybe there's a couple still out there. So, of course, I'll take your trade questions in the chat. But we're mainly just going to kind of go over the news and notes where we're at heading into the week, heading into our 3 Thanksgiving games. So, take a look at that. We'll get into our start sit. And then, of course, we'll be back here on Friday to break down the rest of the games and go through those with you guys. And, of course, answer more questions once we have more injury news. But there it is. Go Niners. Love it. Love it. So keep it coming. You guys have any questions, make sure you drop them in the chat. And also, for those of you guys who are watching, make sure you jump into the description, man. We have a lot of good information in there. First and foremost, come join the Get Right Fantasy Network private sleeper channel. So you can come in there, ask us questions anytime. If you can't catch us on the live stream, if you're just, out of area, something like that. So we're always there for you, looking out. Myself, my co-host, Classic Mike, Dustin, and Fish and Frank. They'll be in there answering questions along with others like KJ Flint, Tycoon, Dim Boys. All those guys are in there answering questions all day long. So we appreciate it. Want to give a quick shout out to our partner channels as well. You have the guys over on the Checkdown podcast, Cody McGoat, Shirtless Pat, and the fellas. So make sure you check them out. There's a link in the description. And then we have WAGMI Fantasy, Mr. Colin over there. Make sure you guys check him out, wagmifantasy.com. Make sure you sign up for that Winning with WAGMI newsletter. We'll get your start sits, your waivers, your trade breakdown throughout the year. And then, of course, just bringing you great content for the week. And then we got the boys, Tim and AJ, over on the Fantasy Frontline podcast. Make sure you guys subscribe to them when they drop their videos. Great content. Tim's also in the Sleeper Network, making sure he's answering questions for you, especially any dynasty things like that. And then, of course, my boy over here, Mr. Martin, who was saying he was here first. He's a big friend of the show, friend of the network, Dynasty Pylon. Make sure you guys check them out. Martin, make sure you drop that link in the chat for the people. You guys want Dynasty, IDP, that's where it's at. Make sure you guys go check them out too. And then, of course, our sponsor up here in the corner, wherever it is, right there. Make sure you use that promo code GetRight, man. Underdogfantasy.com, promo code GetRight, because when you do, make your first deposit 100%. They will match it up to $100. So you drop 100, get 100. So that's $200 that you can go use for your rivalry picks, your daily fantasy, a lot of stuff that you could do there. So make sure you check them out. They're continuing to add to their platform. Your over-unders, things like that. So make sure you get in there, use that promo code, get right. And the people asking for the link, make sure you drop that link in there for the Dynasty Pylon, man. You can always just search it on YouTube, Dynasty Pylon. You'll see it there. So check them out. So again, Martin was saying he has to submit one more sheet on thermodynamic paper. Maybe if he finishes on time, he can jump on with me. So absolutely, you're always welcome, man. We got Drunk Squidward in the house saying, "What's up? Happy early Turkey Day." So happy Turkey Day to you. We have Warrior saying, "Looks like CMC really made the offense solid, really made their offense a solid offense. I feel they're only getting better. It's crazy. Ayuk, Kittle, CMC, and Debo." One of my favorite things was just watching, McCaffrey start in the backfield, or both of them, Debo and McCaffrey in the backfield. They motioned McCaffrey out into the slot and then, hand it off to Debo. I mean, just there's so many options that could be had with this offense to create mismatches. So, Kyle Shanahan should hopefully take advantage. Not going to lie, getting a little excited again. I hate when I do that with my Niners, man, but they are looking good. I think they moved into third in the NFC. So, if we can keep it up, get some guys back here on defense, if Jimmy G can, manage the game with the weapons he has, then I think we have a chance to make some noise, man. So he's saying they're making it easier for Jimmy G. Who do you like rest of the season, Jimmy G or A Rod? That's tough, man. I'll probably take Jimmy G without looking at it, too much, and that's not even a homer pick, just because obviously Jimmy G has better weapons around him. Aaron Rodgers obviously is the better quarterback, no hands down, no argument. But as far as fantasy football goes, Jimmy has the guys that can make plays after the catch. As long as he can just get them the ball, I feel like Shanahan can design those plays to make that happen. And we, see what his, potential is. 200 and something yards, 4 touchdowns. I don't think that's going to happen every week, but it seemed pretty effortless. But that Arizona team is kind of all in shambles at the moment, so we'll see how it goes. So Martin dropped that link in there, so make sure you guys go check it up. Oh, we got a sighting from our ambassador extraordinaire, Mr. Wilson. How's it going, man? Good to see you catching a stream. Might get a couple other faces out here we don't normally get on a Wednesday, since most folks aren't working tomorrow. But shout out to those who are. And again, happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. So, what you're saying, I think they're already the second best in the NFC. It's between them and the Eagles. He says my Vikings are pretenders. So, that's true, man. It's tough to see, but you never know, man. Vikings have weapons as well. So, either way, we'll see how it goes, man. It should make for an interesting ending. But yeah, you definitely want to be catching fire, around this time and starting to, bring things together versus, starting off strong and then now, starting to tailor off. So we'll see how it ends up turning out, before we get there. So last little thing I'll say here before we start getting into some news and notes, make sure you guys go check out trophysmack.com. We got a link in there. They have some great things like different rings, trophies, chains, and of course a belt. So make sure you go check that out, man, if you want to take your league to the next level. Not only maybe playing for some cash or other prizes, but definitely adding a belt is a lot of fun. Had to reach around here and grab mine. Got the green screen, of course, in the back. But this is my bad boy, as you guys see in the thumbnails. So make sure you guys go get yourself a belt. Makes playing for things a lot more fun. So, what are we doing here? Got the green screen going all crazy, but there we go. So, what else do we got going on here? We'll get into some news and notes. We'll talk, start sit for the Thanksgiving games. Of course, taking your questions here in the chat. So just let me know what you guys got going on. Whatever it is, throw it in the chat, and we'll definitely help you out. So we got Squidward saying, "I need some trade deadline advice. I get Mark Andrews for Aaron Jones and Rondale Moore and Greg Dulcich. It's a dynasty league. What are your thoughts on the paper trade?" Mark Andrews for Aaron Jones, Rondale Moore, and Greg Dulcich. I mean, if you need a guy right now, like if you have a chance to win, obviously, Aaron Jones, is still, viable, and he's a good running back. If you have the depth, if you got lucky on some of your, rookie picks, and we're able to make some noise there, I would like to get maybe like a second, with Mark Andrews, just because you are giving away the 3 for 2, or maybe even like a third, just so it's not a total 3 for 1. I mean, Greg Dulcich is, still a decent piece, young piece moving forward. I don't mind Rondale Moore so much. I haven't really been that big of a fan. And then, of course, he's still just battling injuries all year this year. I mean, maybe he can hit some strides next year. And I don't mind selling off Aaron Jones right now to get a piece like Mark Andrews. I mean, they're around the same age, but you're getting that, positional advantage. I'd like to get a little more for Andrews right now, if you are a contender and have a chance this year. If not, I'd prefer to, trade off Jones, for some picks to, try to reload versus, getting yourself kind of an older tight end. I mean, Andrew still has a few more years left. I believe he's 28, 29, if I'm not mistaken. So he's not, totally old. But it's not like, he's Dolchich and could be, that. But 27 actually. So maybe I do that. I mean, Kelsey's still playing. He's like 32, 33. So, I would try to at least maybe get a second or a third. And if not, I probably would go ahead and pull the trigger, if you're one of the top 3 teams in the league. So let me know how it goes, Squidward. Let me know. Jonathan Smith says, "What up? I know ETN is the guy, but I don't like the matchup against Baltimore. So do I play him or Connor? I don't think you need to really turn away from this Baltimore run defense. It hasn't really been, that great. Let me see. In the last 3 weeks, let's see. Yeah, in the last 3 weeks, I guess, yeah, they have been only giving up um, about 7 points per game. So it is a little tough, I guess. I don't know why I felt like there wasn't as big of a about 11 points per game. I don't know that the Ravens were doing that well against the run. I know their defense was getting back, and you can definitely throw on them. Um, before they were kind of just putting up points. But yeah, I mean, I guess in the last 2 games they're only giving up 11 points to running backs. Let me see for the year on that. So yeah, I guess they're still, yeah, for this season. So yeah, 24, 20, 20.9 point fantasy points running backs in PPR over their 10 games they've played so far. Um, they've played Carter, Brees Hall. Let's see. I mean, they faced on to Foreman, Kamara, Leonard Fournette. I don't think they've really, I mean, when Nick Chubb played him, he scored 18 and a half, Saquon 18 and a half. Ramondre Stevenson scored 20.1. And other than that, I mean, they haven't really played, any other great running backs. I mean, even Joe Mixon went 14 for 78, had 3 catches for 10 yards, and still scored 11. So I think, if it's a guy that, they're, is designed in this offense like ETN is, I think he has a chance to, be in that, I mean, even Fournette in week 8 scored 14.8 points. So I think, ETN should still be able to get you between, that 14 to 20, points this week. So I wouldn't shy away from it too much there, Jonathan. To me, ETN's, a stud. Their last couple weeks, they faced Donta Foreman, Chuba Hubbard, Kamara. Didn't do too well, but 9.2, that team's kind of a sham. So, again, the guys that, get work seem to, still score pretty well. So, I'd fire up ETN, man. I'd fire him up. Don't worry about it, especially over Connor. I'm not feeling that Arizona, uh, not feeling that Arizona defense at the moment. So, yeah. Or I'm sorry, feeling that Arizona offense at the moment with Connor. I mean, he's safe, but if you have ETN, I'm not putting him in over that. So ETN's just that dude. Anyway, good luck. Um, Wilson saying happy Thanksgiving to everyone, our fans, and that's part of the Get Right Fantasy Network community, man. So absolutely, Wilson, well said, ambassador extraordinaire. We have Jonathan saying, and can you rank Gabe Davis, Boyd, and Allen as to who you would start? So is that Allen Robinson? If so, I believe I have it Gabe Davis, Boyd, and then Allen Robinson. So the order that you gave it to me is who I would start. I mean, you got Gabe Davis going up against Detroit this week. He has a chance to just ball out, and have another one of those like 3 touchdown type games. They might put up 5 touchdowns against Detroit just to prove a point, especially since they just played their last week too. It's going to be like a home game for them. So yeah, so we'll definitely get into that here. We got Rob Navarro saying happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you, man. Appreciate it. We got Thomas in the house saying love the stream. Hey, we love you too, man. He says I'm in a 12-man PPR with Allen, CMC, JT, CD, D Hop, Andrews, and Mixon in his flex. I know Mixon probably won't play, so should I flex Pirine, Sutton, Keenan, or Foreman? So full PPR, I would probably go Samaje and then Keenan, then Sutton, then Foreman in that order. It's nice that you have that flexibility with Pirine. Um, you know, given however they decide with Mixon. Otherwise, if you want kind of a floor play, I'd go with Pirine. If you want, a little more of a ceiling play, then I would go with Keenan. With this lineup, you're probably fine either way because the majority of your points should come from CNC, Allen, CD anyway. D Hop is the one I'm a little worried about. Um, playing with Colt McCoy over there, but he's still putting up, points either way. He's still a stud. He's QB proof. So I wouldn't change up too much there. But yeah, I think Pirine, Keenan, Sutton, Foreman is my order there. We got Drunk Squidward saying, would you start Hollywood Brown if he's back? I'm never I don't want to say never because I do it depending on like what your record is and depending on the rest of your lineup. But I'd have to know who you're trying to start him over, or who your other option is. I mean, if you're starting like, uh, Tom Kennedy, the third string wide receiver in Detroit, or Hollywood Brown, I might take my chances, with Hollywood Brown. Obviously, that's a bad example because you'd have to make that decision tomorrow, since Detroit plays tomorrow. But personally, I want to see somebody come back first, see how they're doing. Again, it's not a great offense. I mean, it looks like Kyler's probably going to start, even though I kind of said that on the last question with Colt McCoy, but I know Kyler's back to practice this week. So, I mean, we'll see. I would, yeah, I mean, if you need to try to get a win, again, depending on what your other options are, I personally would like to sit a guy, like same thing with Jamar Chase. I'm sure you're going to get those questions tonight as well. I'd rather wait a game and just kind of see how they are. Or else you're going to be in a situation like, Mike Williams is the perfect example. Starting him his first week back, gets in there, on his first catch or, first time they targeted him, ends up re-aggravating his ankle and now he's out again. So, and then you get stuck with that 0 in your lineup and when you could have avoided it and just took your chance even, on someone else like a Tom Kennedy, of all people. So I was just doing research on that Detroit game, so that's why that name stuck in my head. I apologize. So yeah, so let me know who you're trying to start him over, and we'll go from there, man. So he said, Jonathan, and I'm assuming you'd play Henry and KW3. Oh, absolutely, absolutely, for sure, for sure. So, sorry for missing the stream, Martin. I was busy. Oh, no worries, man. We always go back and watch it. I got to get on there too. I missed the last couple live. I've had to watch them. After the fact. But again, make sure you guys check them out. Dynasty Pylon. They got on first name basis with Allen Robinson. Oh, okay. See, that's what I thought, man. He's like, or Allen, oh, it was Keenan Allen. Okay, so let me go back to that question then. I thought it was Allen Robinson as well too. I don't think my answer would change too much on that. But either way, oh well, we're past it. Adjust as you see fit. All right, so we got Warrior asking, start Carr versus the Seahawks or Jimmy G versus the Saints. I started Carr the 1 week he put up like 0 points or 1 point or whatever it was, man. So he's kind of just on my do not touch list right now. Also think it's going to be raining up there in Seattle for this game, so I would probably steer clear of that. Jimmy G versus the Saints. I mean, I might take my chances there, man. And again, it's not because I'm wearing the hat. I would just probably take my chances there. I can't put Carr in my lineups right now. I don't want to put my fate into someone like him where you just don't know where it can land. I mean, at least Jimmy should get you at least 15. Like he's not going to get you less than that. So that's just me. Juwan, too TD dependent to play on a weekly basis? Not necessarily, man. Because to me, I mean, what tight end isn't TD dependent besides Andrews and Kelsey? So basically, it's either Andrews or Kelsey, or just start anyone else you think has a good matchup. Besides Andrews or Kelsey, you're starting whoever plays against Arizona, and then usually whoever plays against the Giants. I think they're the ones who give up the most, touchdowns. Or not just most production to tight ends. So those are the type of matchups that I'd be trying to target there. So Andrews, Kelsey, Arizona, and who else gives up? Yeah, Seahawks, Lions, Dolphins, Raiders. Yeah, definitely Raiders. Chargers, they give up that booty. Well, Chargers is bad because they just face Kelsey, but definitely Raiders, Lions, Cardinals, Seahawks. Whoever's playing those guys, just start them as far as tight ends go. So yeah, I'd throw Jawan in there. Why not? So we have Peoples Jones or Zeke over Hollywood Brown. I would definitely play one of these two over Hollywood Brown. I mean, it's not like you're dying for options there. So, um, yeah, let sit Brown for a week and just see what happens, see how he looks. And if he has a big game, then hey, good. You can start him next week with confidence. Thanks, Rasa, for handling out Thanksgiving sides tonight before the game tomorrow. So there you go. See, I had trouble reading it, but appreciate it, Wilson. Glad you're here, man. Keep it coming. So we got Johnny Talk Sports. What's up, man? He says, how do you feel about this touchdown scores tomorrow? Gabe Davis, Tony Pollard, Ramondre Stevenson. I could also see touchdowns from Hunter Henry and Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup's due, man. It's just surprising that he's playing kind of behind Noah Brown right now. I thought he and Dak had that type of chemistry to where he came back in and we'd see, what we saw like week 1 of last year before he tore that ACL. So it's just a little, disheartening, I guess you would say, to see that lack of production. I had a lot of, Michael Gallup waiting for him to happen, but I can't start him with confidence. I still have him on my bench. I haven't dropped him yet. But I definitely see that, Gabe Davis, Tony Pollard, and Stevenson are for sure scoring touchdowns. But Henry and Michael Gallup, man, I'm not liking what I'm seeing so far from Mac Jones these last couple weeks. It seems like the last time we were really talking about this Patriots offense is when Zappy was in the picture. Ever since Mac's come back, I don't know if he's still not right or whatever the case may be, but just not really a lot of points coming out of there. And it's also sad from Jacoby Myers. But if anything, I would say Jacoby Myers would score before Henry and Michael Gallup. Unfortunately, so. That's an awesome question. So keep it coming, man. I really appreciate that. That's cool. Let's see. He's also saying Jimmy G start every week if you don't have the elite QBs, Allen's, Mahomes, and Tua. So yeah, I mean, I definitely have him in my top 10, I believe, this week. Let me check. And as you guys can see here, my rankings you can find on getrightff.com. Not sure if Frank has updated them yet, but I will tell you guys here who I have or where I have Jimmy ranked this week. I have him exactly at QB 12. And I might even change that a bit because I do have A-Rod right ahead of him, based on that question, before playing against Philly. But actually, I'm making that move right now. And I'm definitely putting Jimmy at QB 11 over Rodgers at QB 12. So there you go. Dim Boy saying, what up, guys? What up, Dim Boys? Glad to have you here, man. I appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving. So yeah, he's saying he agrees, and Car is hard to watch. So yeah, man, I can't do it. I can't do it. We got Jonathan saying, I know it's hard to play multiple people from one team, but is it crazy to play both Ayuk and Debo every week together? I don't think it is like too much. Obviously, I know like guys in here like Martin will say, not to have two wide receivers like that on the same team to start them. I know he's going to say exactly what I always say when I bring that up. I won a championship, last year playing Higgins and Chase. So to me, it just depends on the offense. I mean, I don't think they're the other guys I felt comfortable having both on the same team is like Mike Evans and Godwin. But I think, at this point, I just look at it this way. If you would drop them or you trade them to somebody, they're probably starting them every week if you're starting them every week. So if he's worth starting on somebody else's and you don't have someone better, I mean, I don't mind, starting somebody, both on the same team, especially if it's a good, passing offense, because, just increases your chance of getting the guy that scores a touchdown. And if they both score or both score multiple touchdowns, then, you definitely come out ahead. But yeah, I mean, if you can, you obviously want to trade them, trade one of them if you can. And usually, in this kind of situation, I would try to trade Debo just because you can probably get more for him. Try to trade Debo for like a Mark Andrews, something like that, to shore up that position. So we got Dim Boys in here more popular than me. We got Warrior saying, "What up, them boys?" We got Wilson saying, "What up, them boys?" So yeah, man, we got them boys putting it down over here. That's what you get when you're the OG of the channel, ambassador extraordinaire, number one subscriber, the very first subscriber of Get Right, man. So we appreciate you here. 146 episodes and counting later, man. So again, really appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving to you and the fam, man. So Johnny's saying, unless you have Kelsey or Andrews, it's hard to find a tight end that can score 8 points on a weekly basis. But I think Muth is the perfect candidate for that. Yeah, he's definitely in there. He's definitely in there, in that next kind of tier after you get out of Kelsey and Andrews. I would put Muth in there with like Schultz. Goddard was in this tier. Ertz was in this tier. Now those guys are gone. Unfortunately, maybe Hawkinson's kind of creeping back into that tier as well too. So there are a couple tight ends. Obviously with Kyle Pitts being done here for a while. I think Ninjoku is someone you can maybe think about kind of put in that tier as well. He's kind of been out of sight, out of mind, for a little while dealing with that ankle. But especially with Watson coming back, there could be some great potential there. But basically, that's kind of how I have it. Kittle's right there too. I think he's right under, Mark Andrews. He's kind of in a weird little tier of his own. So I have like Kelsey Andrews. I think Kittle's in his tier of his own. And then you go Schultz, Fairmuth, Hawkinson, Ninjoku. And then after that, it's like, Knox, because I'm just thinking, touchdown upside, Greg Dulcich. I have Higbee, Juwan Johnson at 11, Evan Ingram, at 10. Tanya and Hurst, Hooper. Just kind of gets all muddled after that. So, yeah, so pretty much agree with you there. Jay Media saying, "What's up, Ant? What's up, Jay Media? My fellow Niner brethren here, man." I said, "Sheesh, the rest of you better get on that Jimmy Jean train with us before the playoffs." I'm just saying. So, yeah, man, I hope he could just pull it together, man, and we can make a noise, make some noise in here, man. I'd get excited to talk about that this year. So, let's see if we can make a run again. Them boys are saying I'd also say Hawk is that guy now that he's in Minnesota, Johnny. So yeah, he's right up there, like I was just saying as well too. What else we got here? Johnny saying he picked up Gallic this week, but he doesn't trust him until he scores a touchdown. Yeah, and you know what's going to happen as soon as he scores one, you're not going to have him in your lineup. You're going to throw him in there again. He's going to go 3 for 30 yards, and you're just going to be like, well, there we go again. So. Wilson saying, is Melvin Gordon droppable if you own him in redraft? Absolutely. I mean, he didn't even clear waivers. I mean, Darrell Henderson at least got claimed by the Jags. He didn't, he didn't clear waivers like Melvin Gordon did. So, nobody wants an old aging running back, at the end of the year when things are about to get cold, that's having fumbling problems. That's kind of the last thing you're trying to add to your locker room at the moment, unless you were just had someone that was fumbling worse than him, at this point. Maybe a young guy that just, or a young running back room that needed some guidance. But to me, I think Melgo might be done. We might have seen the last that he's played. Maybe he gets picked up next year, as a backup somewhere, something like that. But when you start having those fumbling problems, man, especially when you're getting older, you're getting scared of contact, getting hit, dropping the ball. It's a mental thing at that point. So, it is what it is. Schultz is capable of 8 points most weeks, but not every week. Unfortunately, I don't believe he has scored 8 points last week. So, yeah, that was with 40 points. He and CD didn't really do too much. It was just kind of a Pollard and Zeke show over there. We got that. Hold on. Jonathan saying, I can't wait to see Shanahan completely outcoach the clan of a coach and Dennis Allen on Sunday. So I'm definitely looking forward to that as well. So we can keep that Niner train rolling. Them boys are saying Debo and Ayuk are both startable together, Jonathan. So he's agreeing. Throw him in there if you got him. Again, especially if you're not, especially if you don't have any better options, then get him in there. Shouldn't matter too much if they're on the same team. Happy Thanksgiving to you too, Anthony. Blessings to you and your fam. So appreciate that, man. I really appreciate it. Everyone else goes Alan Jonathan, except maybe Hackett. So it is, man. It is. Martin's telling them boys to draft already. So for those of you guys who don't know and are interested in why this comment's here, Martin's rolling out a new league he created called the Build a Blocks League. So you basically draft one player each week. throughout the year. And by the end of the year, you have a full team. And then I guess everybody plays. I'm not sure the exact rules on the end because he didn't invite me to the beta test, which I'm mad about. But that's okay. We don't hold grudges. I just want to get in the real thing next year. So um, these waiting on them for the draft. So instead of doing like waivers, you basically draft around each week and add to your team. So it sounds like a lot of fun, man. So we'll be getting it. And he's saying he did. He's been traveling all day. So give him a little bit of time, Martin. Give him some time. We're saying if Justin Field is active, do you start him versus the Jets over Jimmy G over the Saints? No, I'd start Jimmy G just because again the type of injury he has. If he happens to even play, I heard it's like a torn labrum and separated shoulder. It's all over the place with the things we're hearing, but they haven't ruled him out. Apparently he practiced it, I think, limited today, is what they're saying. But I'm not taking my chances because he could just get hit one time and be out and put up a 0 or very low points. And we're getting to a time of the year where wins are hard to come by. So I mean, obviously Justin Fields' ceiling is super high. So normally you would say, hey, if you're battling over 6 points, why play the hurt guy? Obviously, this could be a 20-point difference on what Fields and Jimmy G can kind of score over the last 3 games. But again, Jimmy G has the weapons that can get the ball in the end zone. So again, it's if he can hit his, just hit the right guys and hit him in stride. He has a chance to get a good game. I'd rather take the floor at Jimmy G versus playing for the upside with a hurt Justin Fields. So again, he's not a great passer, and if he's hurt like that, I don't see why, why the Bears would risk, hurting him, more to their potential franchise quarterback. So is what it is. Drunk Squid was just saying, is Zeke a start? I pretty much have him as a start. I mean, he's kind of like Jamal Williams. I picture him and Jamal Williams basically as the same guy. They're kind of like that goal line guy. Tony Pollard's going to score from a ways out. They tried to give him a couple goal line carries, but it didn't work out. So if they get down in there, I think within the 5, that's Zeke's job. I mean, they are still paying him a lot of money. So I think they at least give him that role. If he's scoring touchdowns, maybe if he's not getting 20 touches a game, but he's, getting those 5 value touches, feels like he's contributing to the team. That's how you keep that, locker room, keep him happy. So I think he's definitely, worth a start as a flex. He's definitely not an RB1 or RB2 at this point. But to me, he's worth a flex for sure. Fields 100 times out of 100 Warrior. I like Jimmy's matchup, but you can't sit Field. So Dim Boys is going against me on that one. But again, I laid out my case for that. I just don't like playing guys that are injured that could just kind of leave right away. I'd rather play the healthy guy. I mean, you have a high enough injury risk percentage of somebody getting hurt that's fully healthy, let alone somebody that's already like really nicked up, blatantly. So that runs. I mean, his job is to run and try to get hit, and he doesn't slide, that often. So he's going to take those awkward falls sometimes, even if he's getting pushed out of bounds and stuff like that. He's just taking unnecessary hits. And again, it's his off throwing shoulder. And he doesn't really throw for much anyway. I think he's only throwing for like 150 yards a game. I think the Bears have the last amount of passing yards per game or something like that. So I wouldn't take that risk. I'd go for the floor and Jimmy G on that one. We got A-Rock in the house saying, yo, what's up, brother? How's it going, man? Happy Thanksgiving. Hope you're enjoying the show so far. Anybody got any questions, make sure you keep dropping them in the chat. I'm here for you guys tonight. We're 35 minutes in, still dealing in the chat. Haven't even gotten really at any news, but you guys ask all the right questions, which leads me to all the notes I have already done anyway. So definitely prefer to do it this way. So we have Jonathan asking, do you like Kirk or Keenan Allen more this week? Let me see who I have rated higher, Kirk or Allen. I want to probably say Allen just off the top of my head, but actually I think I have Kirk here versus Baltimore at 18, and I have Keenan Allen at 21 against Arizona. I might change that, actually. I have Godwin and Pittman in between them. But I think Kirk has potential for a big game this week. Let me see. Baltimore against wide receivers. Yeah, Ravens give up the 8th most points against wide receivers, 23.3 points fantasy points per game. PPR, I believe. Is this PPR? Let me get PPR. They're 7th actually in PPR, 37.5 points per game that they're giving up. So I would take Kirk. I would take Kirk there. That's tough, but I would take Kirk. Is it? It's hard to trust Fields' injury, especially with how great that Jets defense is. Yeah. I got a couple people agreeing. Thanks. I agree. Fields not much of a passer. Much appreciated. But also thinking them boys, of course, got to get all those different inputs. He's saying, I hope the Bears sit him until after the bye. Would make his decision easier. Absolutely. Sometimes it's just nice when they sit somebody and then you don't feel bad. You just got to start the guy you have that's healthy there anyway. So we got Juke XD in the house. What's up, man? And again, if you guys are watching, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Looking over our analytics, like 45% of our viewership is from non-subscribers, believe it or not. So if you're watching and you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button for us, man. One of the biggest reasons too is because when we hit 600 subscribers, as it says, here on the banner going down, but this one here, we're giving away the signed Gabe Davis jersey, man. So we're only a few more away. So hit that subscribe button for us while you're here with the holidays, man. You got family over. Grab their phones, hit that subscribe button so we can give this thing away here during Thanksgiving weekend, man. We only need like 15, 20 more, something like that. So make it happen, guys. Make it happen. But he's saying Jeff Wilson, Najee, or Evans at the flex. That is a good question. My gut wants to tell me either Jeff Wilson or Evans. If you want some upside, I would go with Evans. If you want a nice floor with good upside, I would go Jeff Wilson. So I think I just talked myself into going Jeff Wilson overall. I think I have Jeff Wilson in my top 10 RBs this week. Check it right now. Just outside. So I have him at RB 11 this week against Houston. I could probably even argue. I just couldn't put him in front of Cook and Jacobs, ETN, Walker, Barkley. Like I just can't put Jeff Wilson ahead of that. But especially with Mostert dealing with this knee injury, if there's a chance he's not even splitting with Mostert and it's his backfield completely, there's obviously against this Houston, run defense. There's definitely a chance he could see, top 8, top 5 upside, if Mostert sits. So, I think I have him, well ahead of, what Mike Evans' potential is against, Cleveland. Tampa Bay doesn't really run that much. We'll see what happens, with Rachaad White and Fournette and that whole situation going up here against Cleveland. I'm not sure what the weather is going to be like there in Cleveland either. But I have Evans at 11 as my wide receiver 11, and I have Wilson as my RB 11. So great question, Juke Dexty. I'd probably go with the running back just for the more guaranteed touches. So give me Jeff Wilson. And of course, because I said that, Evans will probably go off for 2 touchdowns. But especially in your flex, I throw Wilson in there. Let's see. Wilson saying rest of the season, you starting Christian Watson over Carlos Sutton pending certain matchups. I hate answering like rest of the season questions because the whole reason we do this show like every other day, every week is because things change that often. So pretty much you take it week by week based on kind of what that current narrative is. Because depending on what happens, during the week and the game usage and all this kind of stuff, I hate to say, oh, are we starting this guy versus this guy? So really, obviously Christian Watson's kind of trending up and you have Sutton trending down. There are some positive matchups, for Sutton coming, up here soon. But I think you just take it on a game by game basis. So like, for example, this week, I pushed Watson down a little bit. I have Sutton at 25 and I have Watson down at 33 because he is going up against Philly and we don't know who Philly considers the wide receiver 1 for Green Bay right now. Is Darius Slay going to cover Lazard or is he going to cover Watson? Are they going to shadow? Are they just going to take whoever comes to his side? I mean, we don't really quite know what's going on there. So, however it is, just you kind of got to see. So I want to see more, from Watson. I mean, he scored 5 touchdowns in 2 games, so it's just kind of insane. Obviously he's not going to keep scoring at that clip, but there's also no reason why he can't either. So I mean, the dude's 6'1". He has incredible ball skills, and we know what Aaron Rodgers is capable of at the quarterback position. So is what it is. He said it was supposed to be Sutton. Yeah, I know, I got you there. It was close enough, Wilson. Martin said, "You still going?" Yeah, man. I don't stop talking. I'll be on for at least 20 more minutes, man. If you want to come, I'll shoot you the link on. What should I send it to you on? I'll send it to you on Sleeper. So check your Sleeper app. Sorry, guys. We're gonna get Martin in here from Dynasty Pylon. And here you go. All right. So hopefully Martin will join us here in a minute. We'll get him on here and help me answer these questions, kind of go through this stuff. So he said, send it if you're still going strong. So yeah, it's on over to you, brother. So come on in. So Juke XD said, thank you, man. So no, thank you. Appreciate you checking out the stream, man, coming in, asking your questions, man, and interacting. I couldn't do without you. So appreciate you coming in. So let's see who else. What else we got going on? All right, so I think we're finally caught up with the chat. So if you guys have any more questions, make sure you drop them in. We'll start to kind of get into these news and notes here. We'll discuss kind of what's going on in football. And without any further ado, let's bring in the guy. What up, man? How's it going, brother?
I just finished my thermodynamics paper, so it's like
smarty pants in the house. Let me just finish this thermodynamic.
Well, once you started, I was like, crap, and then you invited me. I was like, oh, dude, I had to rush through it, so we're good.
Oh, see, there you go. You couldn't wait. See, I helped you get through it. See, I helped you power through.
Well, yeah, no, you did. Look, football's king over everything. I don't care. It really is.
Absolutely.
I don't care what it is.
That's why we do this, man. That's why we do this. I'm excited, man. So I finally just got caught up in all the stuff in the chat, which is unfortunate. I would love to got your input there, but hopefully we'll get some folks asking some more questions. And especially if you guys have your IDP questions, man, drop them here. I got the IDP expert in the house. So make sure you get them in. But I want to kind of just go through some of the news and notes, throughout the league, and then we can kind of just discuss that and see where the conversation takes us. And
I won't keep it too long.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, give me your input.
Edwards. Only because of the bye week. Between the two that you asked me, he knows what question that is.
Oh, okay. So that was just for you. That was just for you.
He asked me earlier, and I was like, all right. And I sure enough, I looked it up. I think I'm gonna go with Edwards.
Okay.
Stronger defense, and he knows what I'm talking about.
He knows what you're talking about. There we go. So there it is, man. Appreciate it. All right. So the thing I had here, number one kind of thing to talk about is this, and we had a couple questions about it, of course, already. Is this whole Justin Fields situation, man? Comes out today. They're saying, first it was dislocated, then it wasn't dislocated. He's day to day, hour to hour, or could be season ending. Today it comes out. They say it's a separated shoulder with a partially torn ligament, basically saying it's an AC joint. So kind of what are your thoughts here? And just like they're kind of saying, if he does end up playing this week, are you starting him over someone like Jimmy G, or would you rather kind of see, what he does first? Like, would you risk it at this point of the year?
No. I prefer safety over it. And the only reason is, and I'm not saying the skill set of the guy I'm comparing him to is the same. I would argue that Justin Fields is better, but we've had quarterbacks tough through certain injuries that were their non-throwing arm, and it was always a struggle. Last year, and I'm going to get heat for this, but Baker Mayfield, like the past 2 seasons was injured. I know the skills aren't the same. Like, I would say Justin's way better, and I've been saying Justin's way better, like ever since he came in, but the preface, there's no line. It was just, is this another Andrew Luck situation? But if I have someone else who I know who's going to play, I'm scared of is Justin gets blindsided, and then he literally and I understand it's not his throwing arm. What they're smart, if they'd be smart, they they have Nick Foles back there, don't they? Like, just top of my head. Like, I mean, why
Pretty
I
sure, yeah.
I'm like, why not roll him out and then further evaluate the injury, because you don't want to, like, this is your franchise quarterback.
Yeah. Agreed.
I'm not putting my guy for just the it's just no. Like, if he
Doesn't
hurts
make any
his,
sense, right?
no, it doesn't. Like, there's certain injuries that these guys can go through, and I think that if like, as serious as that sound, and maybe it couldn't be that bad, but I mean,
Oh, it's Simeon, Trevor Simeon, not Foles.
oh, just Simeon.
Yeah.
Well, we've seen what he can do too.
Yeah.
It's not the greatest,
Might
but
actually be a little bit of an upgrade actually for like Mooney and Claypool actually.
yeah. So I don't know. It's just like, I don't know.
Ooh, we got Jay saying, yeah, Foles is an indie.
So it
Appreciate it.
is. Yeah.
There we go.
I haven't paid attention
Simeon.
to the backup there. I mean, so was it that? Okay.
Shout out to Jay.
Let me get on my roster before I screw everything all up again.
No, that was there. But yeah, no, I get it. And Warrior was saying if Justin was more of a pocket passer, then you'd like him more with that type of injury. And I think it's the same. And like I said, I mean, it could just be something as simple as him getting pushed out of bounds. Like he doesn't even have to take a big hit. He could just get pushed out of bounds, try to go, brace himself and just jam that shoulder right back into it. And, now next thing you know, he can't play the rest of the game just because pain tolerance situation.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
Running
you got
quarterbacks is
worse.
a different breed, and then if they rely on their legs, then we've seen what he does in the pocket, and it's not that great.
Right. Yeah, like
And the line
150
is
passing yards a
atrocious.
game. Yeah, it's
The
terrible.
line is atrocious. Like, if you have him back there, he's just going to get annihilated. So he has to run, but then that increases the chance of getting, more damage. So,
Mm-hmm. And yeah, and like where you're saying, Brady would probably be fine with the separated shoulder, and it's just like you said, same thing with Baker. He played all last year with it, because
and
he's
it's
a
the
pocket
Jets.
passer. He wasn't relying on his legs, so totally different style. So yeah, good stuff. All right,
And the Jets have a pretty good defense.
they're legit. And speaking of the Jets, perfect segue. Zach Wilson, no mas. Looks like it's Mike White getting the start this week.
Yeah,
Joe Flacco
Magic
is going to be the
Mike.
backup. Yeah, Magic Mike back in the lineup. Probably see 20 targets to the running backs this week. So I like Michael Carter in this one. He should probably see 10 targets. And, everyone's kind of making a big deal saying maybe Elijah Moore might come back now. But
Yeah.
I think it's more, Garrett Wilson that might be more of a beneficiary here too. But what do you think?
I also thought about more when this news came out earlier. I'm like, okay, we saw what Moore did last season with 3 different quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what is going on his sophomore year? I don't know. Some people are strong believers in the sophomore slump, but I'm like, okay, well, I don't believe in that. But right now, a lot of people are using that excuse. I'm like, yeah, sure, go ahead. But I don't know. I still think he's a good receiver, but he's just in a situation where it's like, what is going on? But I do agree with the Michael Carter. He likes to dump it off to him. I mean, last year he came in and he threw like 400 something yards and handful of touchdowns. It's like, dude, this guy's like the best in the NFL. Where was he
You
at?
remember that? He was
Yeah,
catching
yeah.
fire just like crazy.
Yeah, and it's like, if that was my very first NFL game, I'm like, dude, this guy is clearly the best quarterback in the league. Like, I would think that if that was my first game and I never knew anything about football,
Right?
I'd be like, that guy is clearly the best quarterback in the league. And I wouldn't but it's yeah. I
It
think it's
reminds
gonna
me.
be upgrade on Carter.
Nice. It reminds me of the first time I watched South Park. I wasn't really a big South Park fan, and then the very first episode, finally, someone like sat down. It happened to be on like TV back before there was like on demand and all these apps and stuff like that where you could just pull up an episode.
Yeah.
Just caught a random episode on TV, and it was the one episode where Kenny didn't die, and I was like so confused, like waiting the whole time for Kenny to die, and he didn't die, and I was like, I don't even get it. So I never watched another episode after that. I watched the movie, but never watched any other episode after that. I just didn't get it, but it just kind of reminds me of that when you said that. That was the first thing that popped into my head. So, but yeah. So finishing this off, man, they're saying Zach Wilson may not even be done for the year. They're just saying Zach Wilson needs to reset his mind or whatever the case may be. And they're saying they intend to get him back on the field this year. I think they're just kind of saying that, maybe not to just completely kill his psyche, but they're in the heat of a playoff run, a playoff berth, I should say, right now. So, I think that's why they make this move in the first place. But it's interesting because he's 5-2. He's only lost to the Patriots twice, playing against that, New England defense. But I mean, Bill Belichick cost this kid his career almost.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude's only lost 2 games this year, and they're moving on. So it's just a all around weird situation to me. But hey, the Jets will be the Jets.
But didn't we have this same scenario before last year?
Is that what happened to him
This
last year?
sounds very familiar. I swear, if this is what you heard, I swear we've been here before where they had to bench him because he wasn't doing so hot. I think it was at the beginning. I know it was because of the injury, like he was down for a while, but I think they did
Right.
it again.
Interesting. I'd have to go back and check. I don't remember that off the top of my head.
I'm not this guy. No, he's
not sold on Wilson.
no.
I take
They
it.
made the mistake of not getting Justin Fields.
Right.
That was like the draft. They made that mistake. I just don't think that he's going to be the guy. They're going to roll with him for the next season or two, and then they're going to finally give up on him like his 4th season. But, Daniel Jones was in that cusp of like, he's done with the Giants, and then he did a little bit better, and now they're like, okay, well, maybe we have something here, and that's probably the coaching staff. I don't know, but I mean, look at Sam Darnold. Like, it's just the thing is, this league, if you don't do anything in the first 3 years of your career, they move on.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had 2 running backs already change teams, and they did great things for them this season. But after that, it was like I'm surprised. The biggest one was Benjamin and then Henderson not too long ago. It was like, okay, well, they were decent, but they weren't like trash like Gordon.
Right.
The difference.
Yeah.
They were still young. They were still good. Gordon's old, and he runs out there with shea butter on his hands, and they just here you go, and that's exactly what happened. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's the right.
It's definitely interesting.
I think it's the right move.
Like Dim Boy said, if you're going for 2.7 inches per play in the second half, it's at least worth a 1-game suspension. So I'd have to agree with them. There. We got a Ray Gamer in here saying, if Debo is out with the hamstring, are you going Jacoby Myers versus the Vikings tomorrow, or Josh Palmer versus the Cardinals in standard? And then we have a kicker question: Brett Maher versus Giants tomorrow, or Jason Myers versus the Raiders? So first question first. If Debo's out, you going Jacoby or Palmer?
I think I'm gonna go Jacoby.
Okay. I'll go opposite and go Palmer.
I like what they're doing with Palmer, but if Keenan's 100% healthy, like it just seems like it. Oh, but Williams is gone, right?
Yeah, Mike's out. I'm pretty sure this week. Yeah, I'm going Palmer.
You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna I remember he got re-injured. He re-aggravated again. So
yeah,
I'm gonna go with Palmer. But it wouldn't surprise me if these guys put up
like similar numbers.
Yeah, Myers might actually have a good game too. But if Peterson's on him, then I don't know. So I'm gonna go with Palmer here.
Yeah, I'm going Palmer. I just think he has a better chance at a touchdown than Myers does. And when you're talking standard, that's what you're looking for. And I think he has, better chance for more yardage as well, just having Herbert throwing him the ball. I think a target to him is worth more than a target from Mac Jones at this point. So I'll take Palmer. And then second part of the question, kicker question, Maher or Myers?
I like Maher. If he puts up the same thing he did last year, I mean,
I was going to say, how do you get away from a guy who just did what he did last week?
I don't know. It's a divisional game, so I think this game is going to be great.
It should be. Yeah.
The only thing in between that game is the Giants. If they're ahead, which they have to do it early, if they're going to try and win this game, they have to get the lead and then focus on the run. And we might see a lot of more Matt Breida to not, beat up Barkley, to control the ball.
Breida scored last week too, huh? Over Saquon, right?
Yeah. So yeah, he did. So, that's how the Giants are going to be able to pull that off. But if the the defense and everything of all that, like I don't think they're going to be able to, like, if Micah Parsons is okay, which he sees he's good to go.
He's playing, but is he Micah though? Is he defense player of the year, Micah?
I
That's
mean,
the
he's
thing.
yeah, but I mean, I like to compare him to TJ Watt. I mean, they're single handedly these guys are like the defense, and if they're
Right.
out there, they disrupt things. Um, yeah, I'm gonna say Maher.
Okay. I think I am too. And also just because they're playing in Seattle, I think they're expecting some rain there in Seattle. So, sloppy field. I'd rather take the kicker that's playing in the dome in Dallas. So he said I added Palmer, so I don't know if that means Palmer's in the mix there between or he's just saying I
That was
added
his
Palmer.
question earlier, right?
Okay, yeah, for that same question. I thought it was a different receiver, but yeah, it was already between Myers and Palmer. So yeah, there we go. So appreciate that, Ray. Oh, he has another one here. Hurst versus the Titans, Ingram versus the Ravens, or Moreau versus the Seahawks. So let's answer that one first. You like Hurts, Ingram, Moreau.
Ingram's third here. Hurst and Moreau. I think Hurst is more consistent and safer mm, than the rest of these two guys. And the Ravens are actually turning it around right now. The addition of Roquan. I mean, the guy knows what he's doing. Like I said, I even had this talk with Mike, and he's like, are you gonna put? He hasn't answered me back. I don't think he liked my answer, but I mean, hey, he asked me, and I gave it to him. He's like, I'm putting Brooks over Roquan. I was like, okay, why can't you do both? And his response was, well, you know why? I'm like, no, I don't. Like, you have two IDP spots. Why not play them both? Unless you're putting Chin in. That was my only, and he nothing. So I'm like, all right, well,
Just nothing from that. Oh, we'll
no.
see.
So we'll see what happens. I'm sure he'll cry on Sunday. And oh, you were right. I was like,
You're right again, right? See, don't you can't go against the guy. Right? I
no,
mean, come
I
on.
mean it's funny how many times Mike's done that. I
Oh
should
yeah.
have listened. I'm like, I don't know why you don't listen to me. I
He and I
don't
do
know
that
why.
all the time. He and I do that all
9
the
out of
time.
10 times I'm right. The
That's
one
funny.
it's by a point or two. I don't know.
That's funny. For me, I have it Ingram at 12. I actually like him a little more this week going against Baltimore. They've given up, I think they're the eighth most points to tight ends this year.
Okay.
So it kind of just made me put him a little bit ahead of Hurst, especially if Chase happens to come back, even if Chase is more in like a decoy role. I just think it could take a target or two away from Hurst. And then I have Morrow way down at tight end 20. He's just not worked in that offense. So um, that's how I'd rank those guys. So there you go, Ray. Second part of your question here, we got Mitchell versus and I love how he's letting us know who they're playing, so we don't have to go look it up. He's asking the questions the right way. Mitchell versus the Saints or Pierce versus the Dolphins in standard. So who you like there, Mitchell or Pierce?
Mm, I want to say Mitchell, but man, just because man, I don't know. This one. Pierce needs to bounce back, man.
I think he will. I have him as my
He needs to
RB16
bounce
this week.
back.
Yeah, I just think it was just one of those games. I mean, everybody has him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's clearly the RB1 there. He's not sharing with anybody else. He's going to get the work. You just hope he scores a touchdown. I mean, he's going to get 20 touches. I expect anywhere between 60, 70 yards or more,
Yeah.
depending if
With
he could break a
CMC.
big one. And you just hope he scores. And then obviously, Mitchell. I mean, unless they get up real big, on the Saints early and they can run the ball out with Mitchell, and he has a chance to kind of score a garbage touchdown, without a CMC injury. I mean, I think Mitchell's kind of flexible, but if you have an option to play Pierce, I consider Pierce a mid to low end RB2. He's a pretty much start every week. Like I start him in the leagues I have him, and I'm not even looking at matchups
No,
or
I
anything. It's
agree.
just he's start.
He's the main
So
guy there. Yeah. I
yeah.
agree.
So there we go. Oh wait, there's another part of that question. Lastly, Kyler versus the Chargers or Jimmy G versus the Saints and 6 point per passing touchdown.
I like the 6 points. I love 6 points per touchdown.
Yeah, I don't think I play in any. I think I play maybe 1 4 point, which is like a podcast league that Mike and I are co-managing. But
I'm not a big fan of 4 points.
yeah, it's
When
weird.
I look at the score, I expect those same points that my player got.
Yeah,
I just
exactly.
Kyler versus the Chargers. I 100% of the rushing upside. But if I get an ounce of like him being banged up like day before game, but I want to put Kyler.
Yeah, he was
Just 'cause
back
that
at
rushing.
practice today. I have Jimmy at 11. I have Kyler at 13. So this week I'm going Jimmy against New Orleans. I just think the weapons he just has to get the ball in Debo's hands. Ayuk had 2 catches for 2 touchdowns. I mean, they're just high percentage, if they can do it. And these guys get yard after catch, Kittle, Debo, CMC. I mean, all he needs to do is, 5 yard pass, get it to him, and they can take it to the house, any one of those guys. So I'll take Jimmy in this case until I see Kyler a little more healthy.
Yeah. And they're not that far from what your rankings are saying.
Not far at all. So that's why I like when they ask a question. I have them like back to back. Like that's how you know it's a good question. So that's good stuff right there. His rest of his lineup is Lamb, Evans, Henry, and the Cowboys defense. If that makes a difference to anyone you're starting or sitting there, I don't think it does. For me, I'd roll it out.
I like that.
Just like that. So yeah, you got any more questions, Ray? Let us know, man. You got any other leagues you're working on? Let us know for sure. So we got a Cadillac in the house. What's up, Cadillac? He's saying Connor or Jeff Wilson this week.
Connor.
Ooh.
No, well, because he's the only one there.
It's the Damian Pierce argument,
there's nothing
right?
that's gonna like keep him away from it. And if Kyler, look, if Brown comes back, then he has D-Hop, Brown, and somewhat more, right? So, but if he doesn't, then they're gonna have to rely more on the run. And Jeff Wilson, well, I mean,
I swear these guys are looking at you guys are looking at my rankings, honestly, because I have it on the bottom, getrightff.com. You're looking at my rankings because
they have to be close.
I have them 11 and 12. I have Jeff Wilson at 11. I have Connor at 12. They're going up against the number 1, number 2, rushing defenses.
I don't like that either.
So, or for points allowed, giving up the most points to running backs. These two guys. Interestingly enough, I have them at 11 and 12 just because I just can't find myself to put them ahead of the guys that I have. Ahead of that. So I can't put him in front of like Cook, Jacobs, ETN, Walker, Barkley, Chubb. Like maybe I can put Barkley down there, but we'll see. So
Wilson.
Yeah, Jeff Wilson.
They had the bye. They had extra time to think about.
The guy came and he scored like 20 points just literally off the street. Now they've had a whole time to buy. I mean, because he walking into the same offense he played in last year, like same terminology, same everything. So and now Mostert's dealing with a knee injury as well too, so that's what bumped him up into top 11 for me.
Yeah, I'm just looking. I'm gonna switch and go Wilson.
Ooh, there you go. Ooh, I love it. It's changing the mind. We got Den Boy saying, or Way saying, thanks for helping me, fam. So we appreciate it, man. Appreciate you. And again, make sure when you're here on the holidays, man, you got the family, you got cousins, sisters, brothers, uncles, aunts over. Grab their phones, man. Go hit subscribe to the Get Right Fantasy Network. Grab their YouTube, get in there, hit that subscribe button. And while you're in there, make sure you hit that Dynasty Pylon too and subscribe to their channel too, man. So we appreciate the support. I'm petty, man. I'm petty. We got to get there. It's whatever you got to do, man. We're trying to hit that 1K, man. We're trying to get there. So Dim Boy's saying he's pretty sure Mike has Derwin locked into that other flex spot, or that other IDP spot.
He loves Derwin, man. I cannot.
Not over a linebacker, though. Not when you got Roquan.
Oh, yeah. I don't
know. Ray saying, I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving. Have a good rest of your night and hope you guys win this week as well. So same to you, man. Appreciate you for stopping by. He did hit that like button. So yeah, if you are subscribed, you can hit that like button. It helps us out just as much as that subscribe. So we appreciate it, man. And remember, grab your family's phones while you're all there. Tell them to subscribe to Get Right. All right. So Cadillac saying, I want to start both, but I already have Stevenson and Henry starting, and it's 2 running back and 2 wide receiver and 1 flex. So that was the Connor and Wilson.
Oh
So
yeah. Okay.
if you want Connor and Wilson, are you starting either of those two? So out of those four, are you sitting one of those guys? Or would you sit Henry or Stevenson to get
Well,
Connor and Wilson in your lineup?
I mean, he has Steven and Henry in his starting RB, so that makes me feel a bit better if I went with Wilson.
Okay.
Because just like
I literally have
obviously your
Ramondre
main
at
guys.
13, 11, 12, 13. Like those are
Yeah,
the three
but
guys. Boom, boom, boom.
Henry's gonna go off. Stevenson, I think he's gonna go off as well. So this makes me feel a bit better about putting Wilson at the flex, because if they're gonna put it almost identical.
It should. There you go. All right. Well, we appreciate it again, Ray. Happy Thanksgiving to you, brother. Appreciate you for stopping by, man. Really appreciate it. All right. So some of this other quarterback news that we have into, Aaron Rodgers says he's been playing with a broken thumb. I don't know if I believe all that, but he's saying no excuses. It won't need surgery. So you're still firing him up, like normal. So, whatever guy
It's
needs drama.
Rodgers.
Yeah, he needs drama in his life. You got Kyler Murray. We've been talking about him a lot. But of course, he's missed these last 2 weeks with the hamstring. But he told reporters that he expects to return this week against the Chargers. So that's why we've been answering those questions. And then you got Lamar Jackson popped up on the injury report dealing with a hip issue. So these darn hips. But they're saying he's going to play. They just wanted to hold him back, get him a rest, let him rest today for practice. So Harbaugh's saying they fully expect him to play. And then you got Matt Stafford still not technically in the concussion protocol or something, or he is in the protocol but doesn't technically have a concussion. They're saying it's a neck or something. But there's been reports they may even shut him completely down for the season. Obviously with no him, no Cup, their line is completely destroyed. They just cut, Darrell Henderson. So who knows what's all going on with that team?
Bryce
I mean, talk
Perkins,
about
man.
yeah,
I'm
talk
excited
about
for this
falling
guy.
from grace, man.
I'm excited for this guy. I know he's probably not going to be elite, but I liked watching him.
All right.
If this is the same, I mean, there's only got to be one Bryce Perkins that I know of, and that's the same guy that went out of freaking Michigan.
Man.
So if this is the guy, let me look up right now.
All right. While you're looking that up, do you feel that makes a difference for Allen Robinson and Higbee? Are they worth a start, you think?
Yeah, I mean, unless this might be the Virginia Bryce Perkins. I'm thinking of Shoelace Robinson. All right, my bad. But look, either way, I saw him preseason. I liked what he did. And I'm surprised he wasn't the backup already. To be
over
honest.
Wolford, right? And he's only going to get the start because Wolford's banged up too, right?
What's crazy is I knew Bryce Perkins before I heard about Wolford. I'm like, whoa, who's this guy?
Okay.
And I'm like, it's not Bryce Perkins, and they're like, no, Wolford's the start. I was like, all right, well, I guess they believe in this guy more. But no, I'm excited for him. As for his weapons, just picture like a poor man's Justin Fields. He's gonna run a lot.
Okay. I guess that's good for their offensive line situation.
Yeah, he's gonna run a lot. As for getting it, I mean, he might go throw to his tight end first.
Okay.
Typically, a lot of these uncertain guys, tight ends usually their closest, most easiest target.
Safety blanket.
Yeah, and then look, Allen, like I don't know. I personally have stayed away from all Rams personnel the entire season. I skipped Cooper Kupp. In the draft from beginning, call me crazy, but you know what? I'm looking real smart right now.
Yeah, it worked out now.
Yeah. And injuries you don't ever want. But I just felt like there's no way that's gonna repeat. And it looked pretty good for a little bit, but
yeah, he was doing fine up until that ankle exploded.
So but kind of like what he said, the last comment, did you show that one?
The dumpster fire?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I had that up while you were looking all that stuff up. So
Thursday. Yeah.
Absolutely. And real quick before we get to the next news, how long you think Fields is going to be out? they're literally saying day to day to potentially end the season, like shut them down. So honestly, we
there's
just have to wait for more info, man.
yeah. But
Nobody
if
knows right
I
now.
I mean, from my studies and being in kinesiology, I'm gonna say that's about 2 weeks. So
Okay,
that, I mean,
at
like,
least
I can't wait till I graduate because I'm literally gonna give out a lot of like legit doctor stuff when I'm done graduating.
that's what's up, man. See, I had to have you
Um,
on. It's my doctor.
I mean, physical therapy is great. Okay.
Is that what you're
Um,
going for?
yeah, that's a kinesiology degree. So I
Okay,
go to the chiropractor
very cool,
or physical therapy, but if
very
it's
cool.
as bad as they said it's like, and at minimum, this guy, they're athletes. They heal pretty quickly. He's pretty young. It's going to be 3 to 4 ideally, but it looks like they might force him and it might be 2 weeks. But don't quote me on any of this crap
Right.
because I still don't have that paper that says I'm cool enough to go work at an office. So until I have that
You haven't
stupid,
proved
like,
yourself yet. You haven't proved
yeah,
yourself
yeah.
all the
But
way
I
yet.
mean, but I think it'll probably be about. And the Bears organization are just stupid.
You're weird
Um,
anyway.
Yeah, I think they all slam shots before the draft or slam shots before, I don't know. And then they're like, yeah, let's go draft whoever. Um, I don't know. Minimum 2 weeks, at most 4. And then if they decided, you know what, we're tanking the season to get uh another good receiver or something like that, like why? They spent a second on Claypool and he hasn't been used. I don't know. But yeah, that's too
Doesn't
bad.
make any sense. Yeah,
No,
spending money on wide receivers when you got a running quarterback.
should have been alignment in my opinion.
Exactly. Yeah. All your efforts need to be protecting your quarterback at this point, and then move out from there. So Juwan Johnson or Foster Moreau this week.
Juwan Johnson.
I like Juwan too. Pretty easy there.
Rest of
Uh,
season too.
yeah.
They
All right.
like him.
Yeah. So let's see here. What other news we got that's important? We talked about Darrell Henderson already. Um, we talked about Hollywood Brown. Even if he does play this week, he will be on a pitch count from what they're saying. But it could be the first time he's on the field with D Hop this year. But of course, they lose Rondell Moore, who is going to be out at least a week, according to Kingsbury. So, still going to have to wait for all three of them to be on the field together. Speaking about being on the field altogether, Jamar Chase officially came back to practice today in a limited fashion. So he's ditched the crutches and has at least practiced him on a limited basis. I think that's pretty significant considering it's a Wednesday. I mean, even most vets get Wednesday off. Anyone who's even slightly banged up, they usually just give him Wednesday off. So the fact that he's even out there in a limited fashion on a Wednesday, I think bodes well for him actually playing this week. He's one of those ones where if they say he's good to go, unlike the Fields injury and some of these other people that I would, Hollywood Brown that I would kind of stay away from. He's one of those guys where he doesn't really need many targets. Like he can hit his head on a goalpost on 1 out of 2 catches. So I wouldn't be worried about flexing him if he is active this week. What do you say about Jamar Chase?
It could be another freaking Mike Williams situation though.
Could be. Yeah, if he
Um,
gets hit and goes down on that hit, man.
I'm not big on guys fresh off the freaking injury report if they've been out for a while. I've never really banked on that. I've always gave it a test run week unless I desperately
Hmm.
needed them. Because re-aggravating an injury sucks. Mike Williams, now we don't really know what's going to happen, and
Yeah.
they rolled him out, thought he was good. This happened to CMC last year with the shoulder, and and things like that. You re-aggravate your injury, and I like I said, I plan for this. Like when one of my guys gets injured, I plan for in depth for the next couple weeks until he gets
Right.
back. Like, and then once I see that he's back, unless he's already full practice, like until like they say he's 100%. Like, but if it's questionable all the way till like Saturday,
Game
I don't
day.
like that.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
like that. Then I wait another week.
Yeah. I just think for me, for someone like Chase and the fact that they have still Higgins and Boyd, and they have weapons, and they've been able to do pretty decent without him. I think if they say he's playing, like I don't think they would risk him in a to potentially where they could lose him for the rest of this year in the playoff run, and potentially towards next year if it becomes something even more serious. I don't think they risk that, just to bring him back at this point of the year. So,
But if they
um,
risk it unlimited, would you still roll him out?
um, I
Like,
mean,
well,
you
we're giving him limited snaps. Are you still doing it?
no, if they say
Yeah, I'm
he's going to
not.
be, yeah, I mean, they have to basically say he's ready to go. I mean, it could still be coaches
Right.
speak, and they might just work him more as a decoy,
The
and just kind of let him.
100% mark where I was talking
Yeah,
about. Yeah.
yeah. I want to have him say, and the only thing that helped me was, Burrow had a quote saying that he expects Jamar Chase back this week, and him and it's just you have to kind of take some things sometimes, just case by case situation. And I feel exactly what you're saying, and that was my argument. If you rewind, just about 30 minutes ago when we were talking about the whole Hollywood Brown situation, where I was saying normally I'm not playing guys like that, but these certain type of situation with this type of player, like if he's ready to roll out, I think he's one of those ones. Like again, unless you're saying, oh, limited snaps, this and that,
Right.
then I'm if they say he's a go, then I'm throwing him in my lineup the first week back. So, um, that's just me. So yeah, so good stuff there. I'm sure we'll get a lot of questions on that on Friday once we hear more after that Friday practice. So stay tuned and check out the
Yeah.
show then. Same with the Bengals. Joe Mixon's did not practice today at all. He is in the concussion protocol, so we'll see how that happens. I pretty much expect him to miss a week just based on these new, concussion rules they kind of have in place. They're not letting guys come back. They tried it with Stafford, and look what happened with him.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised he even played. And then lo and behold, we see what is going on there.
Yeah. Fire up
So
Samaje.
I expect Samaji in there. If Samaji does play, where do you kind of have him ranked in this week if he's in?
Oh, you're talking about rankings, bro. That's all you, man. I
Or
just go with the gut.
well, that's what I mean. Like just in your feeling, like
Oh, I'm
is he
throwing him in.
someone you like? Is he flexible? Is he like RB2? Is he RB1? Like where do you feel comfortable throwing him in your lineup?
He's
Like,
a
are you starting him, or I'll give you some guys to compare. So, would you start Samaji P. Ryan? Again, he's getting this Tennessee defense, which is tough run defense. But again, P. Ryan does a lot of his damage in the air. Would you start him, or let's say David Montgomery against the Jets?
Okay. Montgomery only because he's the only one.
Okay. What about him, or like Zeke against the Giants?
Still go with Zeke.
In a full PPR, so you still like Zeke? What about him or Jamal Williams?
Oh, Jamal Williams. And even though, despite it's against Buffalo, the guy's going to cross the goal line at some point.
Right, at
I
least
really
once,
think,
right?
like, and people were worried about Swift coming back. I'm like, no, dude. Like, even when Swift was healthy, they would still use him.
Right. What about him or Najee? P. Ryan or Najee?
P. Ryan.
Okay. What about P. Ryan or DeAndre Swift?
P. Ryan.
Okay.
Swift,
What about
Swift is the biggest question mark right now of all the running backs, because
Right?
he can easily be the running back one for the week. But the problem is, they say he's healthy, but yet when he's there, it's like you give him limited snaps. I'm like, well, what's
Because they
going
want to
on
keep
here?
him healthy, right?
What
It's
are
a
you
catch
doing?
22.
You have a bullet here, and you're not using it, but yet
It's because
I
it's
don't
an ice bullet. It might melt.
yeah, I don't know.
What?
It'll
Oh, what about P. Ryan or I'll give you a bigger question mark at running back right now. P. Ryan or Leonard Fournette?
P. Ryan.
He is still
Fournette's
dealing
probably
with the hip
benched by
issue.
White. I think White's outdoing him right now.
Okay. All right.
White, they're sending the kid in more than Fournette. I mean, Fournette's going to be okay. He's going to be useful, but he's not. I think White started over him, didn't it?
Yeah, he
They
started
start White
over him,
over him?
but yeah, Leonard was way more effective. He was getting all the run up until he got hurt. And he's still dealing with that hip.
An opportunity, man.
Yeah. So Yeah, he's still dealing with that hip. Todd Bowles says Leonard Fournette dealing with the hip pointer is still very sore. If he improves during the week to the point where he can run at full speed, he will play on Sunday. If he doesn't, then he won't.
Yeah.
So it sounds like they're ready to go with White. They'll see what he does, but it could be a big game for White. So if Fournette's out, let's say you like P Ryan or Rashad White. If Fournette's out and Mixon's out, who you like out of the two?
It's against Tennessee, so I'm gonna go with P Ryan.
Okay, there you go. Good stuff.
I'm kind of
I
a
like to put
loser.
you. I like to put you to the test there.
No,
I'll
and
put
that's
you to the
fine. I
test.
like the it's the Najee Harris one that kind of bothers me that I would say P Ryan over him. But the fact is that the Steelers are just like they're so unpredictable that I don't like. Like there'd be times where like Najee just does nothing. So it's like I don't know.
Yeah,
So
it's a weird
he's been
situation.
really good. Like that was his first Najee game. Okay.
Right.
That's what I expected as a first rounder. And many of you in this chat, including myself in my draft, I don't have a
Not I.
Najee anywhere, but
Not
I
I.
know that he was drafted in the first round in a lot of people's
Yeah, he
drafts.
was on that
It was-
turn, that
And
1-2
and and
turn.
I know the draft was like so long ago, but this is one of those guys where you're like, all right, I set and forget and never have to worry about. But yet here
Right.
you are. He only hit double digits like what, two, three games? Like
Something like that. Yeah,
like
not
I
a
don't
lot.
think it's gonna happen again. I don't know.
Ugh, yeah, it's pretty tough. We got Season saying, "What's good, fellas?" And he has a question here, but I want to back up to Cadillac's question. He said, "You think McVay is going to leave after this year?" Nah, I think he's good there. Didn't they just extend him?
I don't know. I
Yeah.
I don't know. He could just
We won't
retire
speculate
at
on
the I don't know.
coaches. Yeah, coaches' jobs. The same situation happened to D
Jeff
Hop,
Fisher.
but he played well. I was nervous playing him last week though, so might have that might have been an old something we were talking about before. Then he said he benched Debo for Kadarius Tony. Ooh,
Oh,
yikes! Yeah,
bro.
don't do that. Yeah, I
No,
was
you
not on
never
that Tony
bench
hype
Debo.
train.
If they
Yeah,
say
don't
he's
bench Debo
going, you full throttle Debo, no matter what, no matter
for
the
sure,
situation. He's one of those special guys.
for sure. Half PPR Olave or White? I assume Rashad White. And tell me with and without Lenny.
Mm, who's the Saints got again?
You got New
Let me get
Orleans
the schedule.
Saints playing. Is it Tampa Bay, right?
No,
No.
it's San Fran. It's you guys.
Oh yeah, playing us. That's right.
Um.
Oh yeah, we've been talking about Jimmy G versus Saints all night.
Oh, jeez. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go
And
with
then you
Rashad
got
White.
Tampa Bay.
They're both against crap matchups, man. Like not crap matchups, like just like
Oh yeah,
good
Tampa Bay
defenses.
against Cleveland. That Cleveland run defense is not great.
Yeah, but then
Um,
you got Hufanga back there just chilling, ready to rock and
yeah,
roll.
still Andy Dalton throwing. If Lenny's out, I'm definitely going White. If Lenny's in, man,
100%.
if Lenny's in, I'd probably go Olave, just cause. I mean, Niners will probably be up in that game, so they're going to be forced to throw. Could get a garbage time touchdown. You
I
never
don't
know.
know. I don't know.
So it's tough. I just don't know the usage if Lenny's there. That's
Isn't
just what.
Bosa back?
Oh yeah, Bosa's back.
I'm no healthy Lenny or not. I'm still going
I'm going
uh
White.
White. Andy
Take
Dalton
your
sucks.
chances.
I don't care
I
what
hope.
you say. Andy
I
Dalton
hope this is a
sucks.
flex. I hope this is a flex season because if
He
it's in the
got lucky.
flex,
He got
then yeah,
lucky
go
against me.
White. Well, I assume it's a flex, obviously, if it's a wide receiver or running back you're deciding from. So
Stupid Andy Dalton.
yeah, go White. A little bit safer floor, and he could break a big run against this Cleveland defense. It's more plausible than Olave going off against my Niners defense. So we'll go there. We got Cletus in the house. What's up, man? Howdy, y'all. Or he didn't say y'all. He just said howdy. I added the y'all. Should I start IU, DJ Moore, Garrett Wilson, or Paris Campbell? So why don't you rank those guys for me? Which order you like these guys? Ayuk, DJ Moore, Garrett Wilson, Paris Campbell.
Ayuk, Wilson, Campbell, Moore.
I think I'm going to agree with you there. Even with Sam Darnold going, still wouldn't take my chances on Moore.
I mean,
You
he
know,
could pop off and be number one receiver this week, but it's been a while since he's thrown. He just came off injury, and again, we go back to re-aggravating any injury.
right.
Uh, I don't know.
And
Like
just this offense behind this line,
yeah,
you know,
it's yeah. They don't have CMC. Like CMC was an all around back. He blocked. You
right.
know. Uh,
And he was that threat. Yeah, you still had to worry about it, but now they just pull their ears back
yeah, yeah.
and
That's
go get him.
just a couple of dudes. Yeah. Ayuk Wilson more and Campbell or my bad. Ayuk Wilson Campbell more.
Yep, I agree. We're on the same page there. Let's see. Cadillac saying I still have Debo on my bench though, because D Hop and the Sun God took the spot. So I think I would
I don't
play
think.
Debo over the Sun
Yeah.
God this week,
I don't. Yeah.
in my
I
opinion.
I would never bench Debo.
Yeah,
If the guy's healthy, they look, they give him carries. They have specific plays for a guy. Like if like you don't see D Hop having specific plays. Like and he's good. But Debo is just one of those special guys.
yeah, just certain packages that are just crazy, and the team feeds off him, man. He's one of
I
the leaders, so find
and
a way to get him in your lineup.
go back to that. Depending on if you got Trace McSorley throwing this week, I'm going Debo and I'm on St. Brown.
Honestly, yeah, that's right.
If Trace McSorley's throwing. Now, if
But
it's Colton McCoy, then I'll go Debo,
it
D
looks
Hop.
like Kyler's going to come back. Looks
That's
like
what
Kyler will be back.
that's what we're praying on. And then we'll
Yeah.
go D Hop, Debo. But again, I'm not. I look. Amon-Ra St. Brown's got the freaking Buffalo Bills and Jordan Poyer's back, and he's one of the best. He's just kind of a little rusty because he's an old fart. Like, look, when you're 32, like that's old in the NFL. It's a
Oh
young
yeah,
man's game.
absolutely.
Like
Making me
you're
feel old, man.
ancient.
My birthday's on Monday, man. I'm turning 38, so
Yeah,
I'm
but
like,
you're
woo,
not an NFL player, so you're
not
young.
even close.
You're young. NFL, when you're 28, you're considered an old veteran. Like it's a young
You're
man's game.
ancient. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
ancient at that
So
point.
I don't like Amon-Ra St. Brown against Buffalo.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think it's Debo, D Hop, Sun God in that order, regardless of who's at quarterback almost to me this
Mhm.
week. Maybe not always, but this week for sure. All right. We got a couple more in here. He's saying I like Debo, but I think he got re-injured. Yeah. But if he's back to healthy and he's playing, you got to get him in there. Sutton, Thielen, or Zay Jones. Pick two. Whew, them boys, that's nasty, man.
Why the hell can't Thielen make the damn end zone?
I know. Well, because Hawkinson, man. Hawkinson just ate up all of.
No, even before Hawkinson arrived and came to
He
town,
was still doing decent. I mean, he wasn't balling like he was last year with JJ, but ever since Hawk came, he's been basically like droppable. Like he was still a decent wide receiver three flex up until they got Hawkinson, and then just these last couple of games with Hawkinson, he's just disappeared to me. So I'd go Sutton and Zay Jones. Interestingly
Yeah,
enough,
I don't Sutton. I don't like any of these guys to be honest.
yeah.
I would
If
package
you
all
had
three
to
of them
pick,
and
which I assume that's why you're asking,
I'll trade all
I'd
three of
go.
them for one guy. I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't
just
care.
anybody.
I'll trade
Go
them
get
all
Brandon
for.
Ayuk. Trade him all for Brandon Ayuk at this point.
I don't care. Like I would trade all three of these guys, and Brandon Ayuk would still produce more than all three of these bums.
Right? That sucks. But yeah, if I had to, man, I'm going Sutton and Zay Jones. Them boys. That's tough though, man. That's tough. All right. So what else do we got here? I only got a couple more news things here. A lot of them we've talked about already. Again, Mostert knee causing him to miss a Wednesday practice. So he was out. Talked about Lamar. Gus Edwards dealing with that hamstring. He came back to practice after missing the last game. He was close last week, but they still sat him. So he might be good to go. And just keep in mind if Gus is out there on the wire, you might want to take a chance on him, man. He has one of the easiest playoff schedules. They get Cleveland, Atlanta, and Pittsburgh for the for the playoffs. So if you can get Gus Edwards there, I mean, maybe J.K. Dobbins comes back here, soon as well too. But if not, Gus Bus might be someone might be a potential league winner for you, or at least just a nice depth piece to have in case one of your main guys goes down. It doesn't completely ruin your championship aspirations. So he's definitely a guy I like to have on my bench. We talked about Lenny. We talked about Rondell Moore. So I think that pretty much covers a lot of the injuries there. So we could just do a quick start sit on these 3 games tomorrow, and then we'll get the heck out of here. You cool with that?
Yeah, but yeah, before we do that, real quick though,
Yeah.
like
Whatever else you want to bring up. Yeah.
A lot of people probably dropped Elijah Moore. If things change and if he has hot fire with Magic Mike, we saw it last year. These guys clicked. I think he's a good stash. Another guy who might be a good stash, and depending if Sam Darnold and DJ Moore actually connect again, might be a good stash. I'm not starting him this week. I'm saying just keep an eye on these guys. All right, if you're in sleeper, you can star these guys. You want DJ Moore if him and Sam connect again, because the first 4 weeks last season they were number ones every week. If that happens again, I'm after him. Elijah Moore, same reason. Bomb ass rookie year. If it happens again, and another guy, probably a lot of people faded on, was Drake London. And this is not a homer pick at all. Look at his schedule. Look how easy that schedule is. He was really good at the beginning of the season. Then the Falcons had a really rough middle season right now. And it was just like, okay, they were doing anything and everything to try and win. And I think London wasn't part of the thing. But again, these three guys I'm looking at as a stash, but I'm not like starting them this week. Like just an eye on these guys, because London has a pretty easy schedule coming up.
Yeah, London gets Washington coming up next, week 13. Pittsburgh has a bye week 14, and then for the playoffs gets New Orleans, Baltimore, and Arizona.
And these guys give up good yardage.
Just be careful on New Orleans, because it looks like Marshawn Lattimore is coming back. There's rumblings there, so just kind of I was gonna say, so just kind of keep your eye on that coming off the bye week.
But for the rest of the weeks, though,
but the other ones you're good. Yeah, for sure. And if you get that first round bye, you can bypass that week 15 and then just come right into that Baltimore matchup, which would be nice. So
just keep an eye on those two guys. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely. Got a couple other questions that came in here. We got one from Alex Flores saying, need a flex, full PPR, Pat Fairmouth or Swift tomorrow. So you liking there?
Swift is so touchdown dependent right now, but then again, he can just pop. Like I don't.
And Fairmouth playing against Indy.
I love Swift. Don't get me wrong. Man, can I flip a coin? And
go right ahead. The coin will answer.
And yeah, look, Fairmouth is. Fairmouth. It's Fairmouth.
Colts are 13th against tight ends. They're giving up. Let me see. Let me switch to PPR here. Colts are 15th against tight ends in PPR. They're giving up 12 points per game. So they're about in the middle there. Who else was it? DeAndre Swift against Buffalo.
Clap them all around. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go Fairmouth. God, I would never choose a tight end over a running back. But
it's hard to flex a tight end, go 12 personnel. Ooh. That's rough. I might take my chances with Swift, man. That's tough. I don't know if I can.
But you're gonna have to hope that he gets across that goal line. That's the thing.
Right. I know. It would just be nice to see him.
Such a hard one, man.
It is at least his passing game. That is a tough call right there, and that's crazy. Would you have thought in week 1 that by week 12 we would be asking Pat Fairmouth or DeAndre Swift in your flex?
Not at all. Wait, I was all
crazy.
Swift.
This is crazy.
100%. At the beginning of the season, I floored it on Swift. Pedal to the metal. Swift is going to be the guy. And
it's crazy.
Now we're in a situation, and it's not even Swift's fault. It's whatever. And you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking it is. I think they're saving Swift towards maybe like, I don't know, but I don't know.
Because, I mean, they're still in the playoff hit.
That division, I know. They
have a chance.
Is so banged up that I think that if they save Swift towards the end, I think this is what they're gonna do. So I'm not dropping Swift. I think that's what they're doing. Yeah. But again, I mean, I'm just a dude.
Right. Wish we had that crystal ball where it could predict the future. Hey, we wouldn't be on this podcast right now if we could. Yeah. Sometimes you're in tune. Yeah, got to be in tune. Where you're saying till the Cowboys defense versus a completely decimated Giants O-line, or Eagles versus the struggling Packers team. I love how he added in the little extra commentary in there too. So Cowboys against Giants or Eagles versus Packers. That's tough. Two good defenses
against two not so well.
I think
awful.
I'd go Cowboys this week, but I like Philly overall. So if you had to pick one or two rest of the season, I'd probably just stick with the Eagles.
They only
Just
have
because,
Slayton and
yeah.
Saquon.
And their line is destroyed. Like they have like three linemen out this week. They had two offensive linemen hurt last week. I mean, Micah Parkins could feast. You could be talking about you know, a lot of sacks and maybe some turnovers, things like that. Not a lot of points scored. Aaron Rodgers still might find a way to put up points against this Eagles defense. They've been kind of giving up the booty these last couple games.
Yeah.
So I
I
might
feel like teams also
Cowboys
play
this week
harder
for sure.
in division games too. So
Right.
I think I'm gonna go with Cowboys here.
Yeah, I think I go Cowboys too. Got Cadillac saying in an 8-man, someone dropped Rashad White and DJ Moore. Who do you think has more potential? Should I try and pick one of them up?
White. If you need to get one of them though.
He said if he does pick him up, he'd have to either drop Brady, because his other QBs are Fields and Tua.
Oh man, you're doing what I'm doing. He's doing what I'm doing. I'm saving Fields for that last week, dude. Week 17, he's got Detroit. I'm telling you, if Fields is sitting there, you pick him up. I know that like his shoulder injury. I'm not playing him against the Jets. I'm not playing him next week. He's got another tough matchup. But the rest of week 17, he's got Detroit. If Fields is healthy that week, he's gonna win championships. Because Detroit can't stop anybody. Unless you run to freaking Hawkins, or not Hawkinson side, but freaking oh my gosh.
Hutchinson.
Thank you.
I got you.
Yeah, no, yeah.
It's because I've been listening to your show. I've been listening to Dynasty Pylon.
Dude, that guy's a freaking DB, man. He's
Yeah,
got
you
2
seen the interceptions? Yeah, 2 picks. Didn't he have a pick and a fumble last game?
Yeah, man.
Fumble recovery. I mean, that dude's just all over the field. Every time I see on Red Zone, they're just like, "Hey, Hutchinson," and he's like celebrating with the ball in his hand. I'm like, damn, this dude's a beast. It's good stuff.
Defensive back on the line right there.
Seriously. So going back to answer your question, I would just leave both those guys there in an 8-man. I don't think either one of them really are worth picking up. I'd rather keep the quarterback out of somebody else's hands. So this is like the one rare instance where I wouldn't mind actually rostering 3 quarterbacks with these 3 quarterbacks that you have. Just because it seems like right now quarterback, like just 2 weeks ago, there was only 3 quarterbacks that scored over 20 points in the week. So probably not.
I don't think it is, but
18
if it's
super
not,
flex, yeah.
I like what he's doing.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
He's
So
being
it's like the one time. Yeah.
A big time jerk here. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So this is like the one time I'm actually okay with holding 3 quarterbacks.
Capping everyone in that league for all the quarterbacks, bro.
Yeah.
Like, this dude pissing people off, bro.
Just drop one. They're just like they're waiting for you to drop one. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
They're trying to entice you.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Don't give them that leverage, man.
Stick with it. Stick with it. Let's see. We got Will Hay saying, "What up, guys? Pick 2: Mike Evans, St. Brown, or McLaurin."
McLaurin.
Pick 2.
And
are you saying sit McLaurin or
no? I like McLaurin right off the bat. Heineken loves McLaurin. So
yeah, I think I'm going Evans and McLaurin here. I don't like Amon-Ra against this Bills defense, man.
Yeah.
So there you go. Let's see. Oh, you kind of asked it twice. We got to it. There we go.
Still banged up, isn't
he? Yeah. Warrior saying thanks, guys. So he's saying thank you. Warrior saying you can't drop Brady. So he's kind of agreeing to us, and it is a 1 QB league. So
yeah. You keep doing.
You're doing the right thing. I don't mind that.
Don't let them have them freaking quarterbacks, because then they're gonna use them against you in the freaking playoffs, and you're like, damn, I wish I had them still.
Should have kept them. Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's get into this game real quick, man. We've been talking about it a lot. Perfect segue. Buffalo coming in at 7-3. They're favored by 9.5. Playing at Detroit, who's 4-6 and still in the hunt at 4-6. 54.5 point over under. In this one, so starting with the quarterbacks, Josh Allen and Goff. Obviously, we're sitting Allen. Me personally, I'm sitting Goff. You agree or disagree with any of that?
Let's make this real quick. You're only starting. No, seriously. Like
that's why I was like, yeah, let's run through it.
Start Jamal Williams. That's it. And I'm not liking Amon-Ra St. Brown. Okay, but if you need to, you have to. Okay, if you need to.
Right. I like him at a flex more than RB2 or better.
Okay. But Jamal Williams, that's it. And then everybody on the Buffalo Bills. Boom, move next game.
Pretty much, yeah. Diggs, Davis,
You have a pass
Singletary,
catcher, you have a weapon. Boom. Even
Cooks and
Singletary.
Cooks and Hines.
Cooks and Hines.
Yeah,
No, no, no,
starting or
absolutely
sitting?
not. They're ghosts.
Okay. What about McKenzie? You think he has a chance against this Detroit offense to score a touchdown?
I think he does. I
Okay.
think he does. I think that they're in a situation where they're just gonna go ham on them. Now I don't think this can't happen twice, okay? But again, I'm referring to situation like last week, he just had a bad game. The last time Josh Allen had a bad game is when Josh Allen wrecked him. And if you don't know who Josh Allen is, Josh Allen from the Jaguars defensive end just wrecked him.
Yeah.
Okay, that was
It was the
and
Josh Allen on Josh Allen crime. I remember that.
nobody expected the Jaguars to pummel Josh Allen like that.
No,
And
that
he
was
goes, "Oh,
interesting.
I'm the real Josh Allen. Sit your ass down because you're just a court." That's exactly what Josh Allen did to Josh Allen. Okay,
He did. I
figure
remember
out which
that game
Josh Allen I'm talking about. But that's
for
the
sure.
that's the last time he did that. So this game, I think it's going to be through the roof.
And
I
they're
say
playing in
McKenzie.
Detroit again, so it's going to feel like a home game to them. They were just there, same
Yeah.
locker room,
Well,
same
they already
everything.
know they
Yeah,
know the area. They know
yeah, they're
that's
all
home.
good. That's home to them. So yeah, so there you go. So should be a nice way to wake up and watch this game. Get your football started Thanksgiving morning. So that should be a lot of fun. We have the main slate game. I guess you would say you got the Giants coming in at 7-3 against Dallas, who's favored by 10 against another who are also 7-3, 45.5 point over under. So you got Daniel Jones and Dak Prescott here, quarterbacks. Are we starting these guys or sitting the quarterbacks here in this one?
I'm starting Dak.
Okay,
I'm
I
starting
am too. Daniel Jones, if you're really in a pinch, super flex leagues, he's definitely worth a start in your super flex. But yeah, as far as one QB, I'm sitting Daniel Jones. I like guys like Jimmy G, ahead of him. So especially against this Dallas defense. Moving on to the running backs, obviously Tony Pollard's a must start at this point. And then Saquon's a must start, so we won't talk about them. But we've had some questions about Zeke. How you feel about Zeke, just in general? You finding a spot for him?
Yeah, I think you have to. There
More
could
like a
be
flex versus
yeah,
like an RB2?
yeah, something like that because I mean Pollard obviously like we've been saying this for since the offseason really that Pollard was going to eventually emerge as the number 1 and clearly we've been seeing it. Now, if you want to argue that the injury helped him out, but regardless of the fact like he still did better last year. I mean, nobody can get mad because the Vikings decided to not play and they decided to go to the front row seats and say, "Hey, you want to play some defense?" And that's what happened. You
Right.
know, they were just fans in jerseys because that was not the defense of the Vikings. So I'm
Question
putting
for you: You starting Zeke or DeAndre Swift?
Zeke opportunity.
Okay. I have him back to back. That's why I had to ask. I have Zeke at 29 and Swift at 30 right now.
Okay.
So, all right. So we'll move on to wide receivers. We're obviously starting CD in this one. But how do you feel about Gallup, Noah Brown, Darius Slayton,
Noah
Kenny
Brown.
Galladay? Are we? Did I say
Brown.
Hollywood? I meant Noah Brown.
You said no. You said Noah Brown.
Oh, okay. I was
The
like, did I
guy
say
hasn't.
Hollywood? I
No,
didn't mean to say that.
no. I don't even want to hear
I'm
his
just going
name.
over. I'm just going over guys, that are in the
Yeah,
game.
but
You could say
no,
sit.
nobody here should have Noah Brown unless you're
Well, just
playing
he's
like
played
a
more snaps and
dynasty.
had more targets than Gallup. So I'm just, are we? That's kind of why I brought it up more in the comparison to Gallup. Brown or Gallup if you have to make that choice.
If you have to make the choice, you're putting Gallup in.
Then you shouldn't be playing fantasy, right?
I mean, I don't know. Everyone's like, oh yeah, Gallup's gonna be the number 1, and that didn't work out.
Well, tell me about Slayton then. What do you think about Slayton? He's had some talk coming off a couple good
Yeah,
games.
you might have. Yeah, you're gonna have to. Um, yeah,
He
I'm gonna
squeaks
say
in right at a wide receiver 3 for me at wide receiver 36, so he's in there. I'm playing him over guys like DJ Moore, Deontay Johnson, Brandon Cooks, Drake London, Paris Campbell, Zay Jones, Thielen Robinson. Give me some Slayton over those guys.
yeah.
Darnell Mooney. just because I'm not sure, what Fields is going to do. So I'll take my chance on Slayton over
Yeah,
about
yeah,
those 10 guys I rattled off. So
you know.
Kenny Galladay, 10-foot
No,
pole, right? Yeah. Okay, just making sure, just in case people were actually thinking about it.
no
We
Brown
wanted to
would
put
get
it there.
more than Kenny Galladay.
Okay, see, fair enough, fair enough. What about these tight ends? Schultz and Bellinger might come back, but otherwise, you're not starting a Giants tight end, and you're pretty much firing up Schultz if you have him right at this point.
Yes.
All right, so we'll move on. Last game, we'll have the Thursday night game when you're nice and full of that turkey or whatever your food of choice is here for this Thanksgiving. You got the New England Patriots coming in at 6-4 at the Minnesota Vikings that are an interesting 8-2. So you got the Vikings favored by 3 in this one, a 42.5 point over under. So quarterbacks in this game, Mac Jones is a sit, I assume there. But Kirk Cousins, what do we do with him? He's like right on the fringe. How you feel about Kirk Cousins in this game?
It's a different defense.
Coming off his 2.2 fantasy
Yeah,
points.
I know, but again, all these quarterbacks, every player has that one freaking week.
Yeah, that donut
Josh
week.
Allen and Cousins, that was theirs last week. I don't think that's going to happen again.
Okay.
It can't happen again. And if that
Right.
happens again, I think I might go buy a lotto ticket because that is just crazy
Right.
lucky that happens twice. There's no
And
way.
I'm freaking out about Justin Jefferson if this happens again to Kirk Cousins. So
Oh yeah, but I mean he's one of those must starts. I think it's gonna be fine. I don't think that'll happen again. That was insane.
yeah, I have
There's no Micah
Cousins here
Parsons.
at 14. So he dropped a little bit. I have guys like Rogers, Jimmy G, Kyler Murray. If he plays ahead of him. But I'm definitely playing Cousins over guys like Carr, Daniel Jones, Tannehill, Trevor Lawrence, Mariota, Brissett, Goff, those guys. So
I'm putting him over Rodgers.
oh, you even put him over Rogers.
I'll
There you
put him
go.
over Rodgers. Yeah, Rodgers has
There you
got
go.
freaking Philadelphia, man.
It's
I'm
just the
okay.
New England D. Like I said, that Philly D's been a
Matthew
little
Judon.
susceptible at this point, but yeah, I mean this New England defense is still
Hot.
yeah, they're kind of hot right now. So,
If
and it's not bad. He's at 14, so he's just kind of right on that edge.
if they could freaking somehow figure out where the play's not going to McCourtney or double Judon, I think they'll be okay.
Okay, fair enough. Running backs in this game, Ramondre Stevenson and Dalvin Cook are must starts. What are we doing with Damian Harris?
That one's interesting. I think he's okay. I think he's gonna be like an RB3 or be like a flex.
Yeah, if you really need a floor type flex play, I think he's good for 12 carries, about 50 yards, and then you're just hoping he lands in the end zone.
Yeah.
Maybe he gets a catch or two, just because he happens to be on the field at that time. But otherwise, I would expect really, if he scores 6 points or more, like I'm happy with that. Like I would, and if he scores less, then it's kind of like, that's what I get for starting Damian Harris. So
Yeah.
you have to be okay with that. So as far as wide receivers in this game go, we're obviously starting Justin Jefferson. We've kind of talked a little bit here about Thielen. Jacoby Myers, I would say probably the only other guy here in New England that you could potentially be starting. So how you feel about these guys, Thielen and Jacoby? Out of the two, which one do you
I
like
don't
more?
know about like. Sorry, someone came into my office.
Oh, you're good.
All right, so
Thielen or Myers?
Myers. What? You good? Yeah, I'm going Myers here.
Okay, that's cool. And then as far as tight ends go, we got obviously Hawkinson. If you have him, you're probably firing him up unless you have someone better. And then on the other side, Hunter Henry, Gianno Smith. If anyone out of these guys is startable, it would be Hunter Henry. But we haven't seen, the kind of production out of him like we saw last year in that connection. So I do like Hawk, more than Hunter Henry. But I believe someone up earlier in the chat was saying they believed Hunter Henry might score this game. But to me, it's like, hey, if you got to throw a tight end in there, just throw a tight end in there. I mean, if it's not one of those like
Henry, like of
top
all,
5 guys, yeah. I mean, just
there's no way Henry is. No, there's no way.
yeah.
There's better
So
options than Henry right now.
that's what I mean. Like, I'll take Jawan Johnson over Henry. I'll take, Evan Ingram over Henry. I'll take, there's a good handful of guys I would take
Yeah.
over Hunter Henry. So, so that should be it, man. So that wraps it up. You ready to call it? Anything else you want to add on there real quick, or
No,
you
I
think
mean,
we covered enough of that there?
besides those stashes, and I don't know if you showed any of the rest of the comments. I think one of them actually mentioned basically almost what I said earlier.
Oh, right here. DJ White could be just on
yeah,
your bench.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's all the same earlier, like, and I don't know if Warrior's been here the whole time or before I got here, but yeah, I'm saying that those guys can definitely be stashed. Elijah Moore, if he has good connection, we've seen it already with Mike. Mike White, him and they did pretty good. If DJ Moore somehow does it again with Sam Darnold, and I honestly think Drake London might actually reemerge like we did at the beginning of the season because the schedule gets easier.
Nice.
So just guys you want to keep eye on. I'm not saying drop someone and go get him right now. I mean, I don't know if you can, and just have them on their bench and just see what happens. Like,
right. And we got one of the last comments here from Warrior saying I already clinched the playoffs 9-2. Nice flex, Warrior. I like it. Congratulations. I have the Eagles, and I'd like to say maybe we helped you with a part of that. So no, I'm just kidding. I'm not taking any credit in the win because I'm definitely not taking credit when you lose. So I have the Eagles and Cowboys. He's already set at wide receiver. Devonta Smith is a hit or miss, so he's looking ahead. The Eagles play the Cowboys in Week 16 in the playoffs. So he's asking, should I pick up the Titans defense? Is this a good move? They play the Texans in Week 16. Looks like the lame ass Texans coach is lightning load for Pierce, and they also switched their QB. So yeah, I mean, I think if you have the opportunity to do stuff like that, these are championship moves. If you're out here playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers, that's what you want to do, man. Sometimes we all know you can win by 2-3 points, and when you're playing these team defenses, sometimes that's the difference, in your games. So doing something like this, I like, especially if you have the room for it. You're 9-2. You just got to get yourself set up for the playoffs. These are playoff setting moves. Same things, if you're playing in leagues with kickers, just making sure you're maximizing every roster spot that you can to get the most points out of it that you can. So yeah, that's what's up, man. I like the move. Absolutely. Cadillac saying he dropped the Steelers defense for DJ Moore. So well done. I like that.
Is that DJ or Elijah though?
I would assume DJ Moore because remember we were talking. I think he mentioned it up above, but
just look like you have a decent defense.
It could be Elijah Moore, right? Because we have been talking about that, and that comment kind of came in. Yeah, he just said right now it is Elijah Moore. So he's taking you up on your comment right there. So on your idea. So he's
currently with Washington. Okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah, there we go. So not bad. Yeah, and he has Washington.
Chase is coming back too, so I really hope he has a good impact on that defense.
For sure. Remember, we all thought Washington defense last year was going to be the shit, and then they were nothing, and then Chase got hurt, and it was even worse. So, yeah, we're starting to see this Washington defense flash again. We're saying you guys sure did. I'm on the channel every week. You know it. Yeah, you are, man, for sure. But like we said, man, you're the one just taking our information and you're making your decisions with it. So again, ultimately it's up to you. You're the one hitting that submit, lineup button every week. So that's your credit, man. You're just doing what you need to do to, get the information to help you make the best choices. So we're definitely not going to be right all the time. We're going to be wrong, sometimes, but all we can do is provide you what we know. We do the research. We're degenerates to the fullest. We're on the Twitters. We're watching video, watching film, like just trying to analyze this data the best we can to present it to you guys, man. And just hopefully we show you something that maybe you didn't know that helps you make the decision. Or maybe we like someone way too much and you go against us and that helps out too. So however we can help, that's what we want to be here for. I always just do everything opposite what Mike, classic Mike tells me. And it's been working out pretty well for me so
opposite
far.
Of what he's doing?
Yeah, works out. Whatever works.
Oh
That's my shot
Mike.
at. That's just my shot at classic, man. Oh, I shouldn't have said it with Drew in the house. Drew's gonna tell him on Sunday morning that I was talking shit to him. What's up, Drew? Nice to see you here tonight. Usually Drew's with us. I know he's up late, man. Maybe has the in-laws or someone staying in the house, so maybe he's up and tired and popped on the stream here. So we appreciate it, man. He says it's sad that I'm asking this question, but should I bench switch for Foreman or Pacheco in full PPR? Ooh, that's a good question, man. So, you playing Foreman or Pacheco over Swift in full PPR?
I think Pacheco.
Yeah, he's not catching any passes. They've only had a 100-yard rusher for the first time since week 4 of last year. In the last game, it was the Chargers offense or Chargers defense that he did it against. I wouldn't read too much into that. I mean, this is the Mahomes and Travis Kelce show. To me, whenever they get around that goal line, they're throwing it. Like, I don't think they're gonna put it in Pacheco's hands. I don't know if he's earned that quite
But
yet.
it's PPR between the pylons, yeah, maybe. But
Yeah, so
all
I don't
three of
know,
these
man.
guys, you're gonna hope that they end up in the end zone at some point. It's Pacheco that's gonna get the yards, probably not the touchdown. But Foreman is probably more than likely gonna get more touchdowns than both of the other guys.
You got Foreman going up against that Denver defense this week, so I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
Honestly, here I'm probably going Swift, my guy, unfortunately. Because he just any given week, it could be the week they unleash him, or I think he has the best at all three of these guys to get 4 or 5 catches with around the same amount of potential yardage because he can break a long run. So put it in. He's going up against Buffalo this week too, so it's all pretty bad. Have a pretty bad setup all the way around.
Yeah.
I mean, even Kansas City's going up against the Rams. I mean, that's still Aaron Donald you got to deal with in the middle there. And he's running through the tackles. That's just rough, man. You don't got anybody else you could start there, Drew? It is sad, brother. That is sad. That's a tough choice. I would just take my chances with Swift, man. Honestly. At that point, just go with the guy that's at least the best talent. They're all in messed up situations, so I don't like it at all. But if I was in that situation, I go.
I'm
Swift.
hoping they're saving him, man. I'm hoping they're resting him up.
It's one of the biggest mysteries right now in fantasy football is DeAndre Swift, man. Him and Najee are just like the two, like, what the hell's going on situations. So, man, see, right when we're trying to end, we're picking up steam. Now the chats are all starting to roll in again, right when we're about to sign out. But that's what we're here for, man. So keep them coming. Full PPR, pick 2, Ramondre Stevenson, Jamal Williams, Jeff Wilson Jr., or David Montgomery.
How did your league mates let you have these guys? I'm going.
These are just. I mean, Ramondre Williams and Wilson were all just like waiver wire guys in the beginning of the year, so I could see that. But I'm going Wilson and Stevenson for me. Yeah, and then Williams, Montgomery. That'd be my order. He said, "Is it weird that I have both Garrett Wilson and Elijah Wilson?" It's weird. It's not crazy, but it's nice to have because you could figure out which one you need and just drop the other.
Yeah, and again, I said Elijah's kind of like one of those guys you want to look at.
Yeah,
you can jump the bullet. It's fine. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I for one, that is weird. I for one, and I think we've had this conversation, Anthony, where it's like I typically try not to get. See,
I just quoted you about this earlier.
I didn't know
you were still finishing your paper. Yeah,
probably would have never done that, but I didn't know that. But it's all good. You're gonna have to definitely wait, like this quote right here, or what you just said. You're gonna wait on which one banks with who,
right? And then you can drop
typically I don't like having both receivers on both sides.
Yeah, and I told the people about that earlier, and then I always say my whole thing about how I won last year with Higgins and Chase, and you go, yeah,
but that was a powered one though.
Yeah,
that makes sense. What you said, like if you know it's guaranteed, but here you're guessing. You like Mike White. I think he's going to come in, and I think he's going to be great. He did it last time.
Yeah, again, I still see a bigger game for Carter over either one of these wide receivers, honestly. So I think Carter.
He loved
like 10 catches.
Going to Carter. Yeah, you're right. But then second, it was Elijah Moore, but Garrett Wilson was never there.
Right.
So that's the change, and that's the difference. I like. Again, kind of hope. See what happens this week.
Yeah,
and then just keep whoever. That's kind of interesting, my guy.
For sure. He says I also have Rashad White, Kenyon Drake, but they seem sketchy. So do you like either of those guys over Swift, Foreman, or Pacheco? Honestly, I think I like Rashad White. Especially, well, if Lenny's out, or they're saying Lenny's limited at all, then I'm going Rashad White over all four of those guys.
Well, I mean, I still like Wilson's thing going on. I feel like Wilson and Rashad White are kind of in the same boat. Like,
Well, it's not
depending if their
Wilson.
other
It's
guy.
Swift, Foreman, and Pacheco.
Oh, I'm looking at Jokers. My bad.
Yeah. That's
I'm
why I was
mixing
like,
them
oh
up.
wait,
My
no.
bad.
Yeah, it's all good. So yeah,
Swift,
so
Foreman,
these three,
Pacheco.
and then Rashad White and Kenyon Drake. So out of all five of those guys, I like White the best. I go
Yes.
White, Swift, Pacheco, and then Foreman. And then Drake's last only because Gus might be coming back as well too. Maybe I put Gus
If it's
and then
PPR,
Foreman and Pacheco.
I like Pacheco a little higher, but I'm
Pacheco doesn't
going
catch any
White.
passes. He has no
No,
catches
but
in the last 2 games that he started. No catches. They don't even
yeah,
throw him the ball, not even a target.
you're right.
So I don't even think PPR makes a difference.
I don't know.
It's Jarek McKinnon's their catching back. I honestly like Jarek McKinnon over all 5 of these guys.
Oh, jeez. Yeah,
I literally started
White,
McKinnon last week, but he fumbled. It was bad, but the thought process was there. So if Kelsey didn't score 3 touchdowns, I thought one of those touchdowns should have went to McKinnon, but he had fumbled. So that's his bad. So we got Eric Figueroa in the house. What's up, Eric? I think I remember your name, but just in case, man, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button for us, man. We are giving away a signed Gabe Davis jersey when we hit 600. And if you already are subscribed, hit that like button for us. But he says, I got Hollywood Brown off waivers. What are your thoughts? He thinks he got the steal of the century.
I like it.
Yeah, for sure. You get a guy like that this late in the season off the wire. That's well done. Shame on whoever dropped him. Especially if you have an IR spot. For sure.
Thanks for sub, man.
Oh, he got in there? Oh, for sure. Yeah, there you go. Appreciate it, Warrior. See? Yeah. And again, make sure you guys go subscribe to the Dynasty Pylon, man. We got Martin here in the house with me tonight. So he was happy enough to come on with me here tonight. So appreciate you staying up late with me. Eric saying 3 wide receivers, or which 3 wide receivers do I start this week? Sun God, Scary Terry, Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis, or Pittman. So
right off the bat, Davis.
Your 3, yeah. Davis for sure, then Terry, and then Kirk, and then Sun God, Pittman. That's how I would go.
Yeah. That in that exact order.
Cool.
Yeah. I like.
We're in agreement. We're in the agreement there. So just
you're not Mike. So
it's easy, right? When you have somebody who's thinking right.
Mike was like,
oh, he would say Kirk for sure.
He does.
I think he would go Davis and then Kirk, and then I don't know who he would like after that.
Swings for the fences.
Yeah,
he doesn't like doubles or triples. He like,
or just a nice single every once in a while.
Strike out hard, or he's swinging for the fences.
Right, I like it.
I don't mind doubles.
Gotta have it. And then he's saying, do I start Mostert over Swift this week? Mostert's dealing with the knee, so I would keep an eye on that. But I think I'm going Swift. Against Buffalo is tough, man. You got Mostert going up against the one of the top most points given on running backs this week. So, but I think that's the Jeff Wilson show over there at the moment, especially with Mostert banged up. So I think who's healthier, right? Out of Mostert and Swift. Yeah, these are 2 tough guys to roster, man. So, but if I had to, I would probably go Swift, just because you do have to make that decision like tonight or tomorrow morning. So I don't think you can risk waiting to find out what happens with Mostert. So I think you're kind of stuck in certain Swift there. So there you go.
Mostert, and we like in the past, this guy's made out of paper, dude. Like once he's injured, he's out for weeks, man. Like I don't know.
It's crazy.
I'm surprised.
We got Fu Young in here. What's up, man? I haven't seen your name here before, I don't think. Maybe you've been on with one of my co-hosts. But again, if you are new to the channel and just stumbled upon us here on this Thanksgiving, would appreciate the subscribe. I got my special guest here, Martin from Dynasty Pylon. His link's up towards the top if you scroll up in the chat. But we'll hopefully have him drop it in here again when I give him the floor here as we go out. So again, you can go over and subscribe to his channel as well. Does Dynasty and IDP. But if you have a question here, we're just getting ready to sign off. If you do have a question, let us know. If we happen to sign off before you get your question in there, make sure you get in that description and join our private sleeper channel. You can ask your questions there. We'll answer that all day and night. So come join the community and you can be a part of it there. So Eric saying thanks. He appreciates the advice and good luck to you, man. So there you go. See, I stalled long enough for Fu Young to get his question in here. So he says, ETN or Jeff Wilson? Big ETN fans here on Get Right Fantasy Network. So I'm going ETN. It is close, but I have him as a top 8 or 7 RB this week. But I do have Jeff Wilson at 11. It is tough. Uh, you want maybe more of a sure thing, you can go with Wilson. Just to me, ETN's upside is just through the roof. So I have to have him in my lineup. So
I'm assuming
uh,
these guys are his flex.
could be.
I'm thinking that's his flex. I honest look. I think I'm going Wilson. That's where
Okay.
we're disagreeing here.
Hey, we finally got one. There we go. I
I
like
think I'm
it.
going Wilson.
We've been agreement all night. It seems like, so it's nice to get it there. But yeah, I have ETN at my RB8 this week. I have Jeff Wilson very close behind at RB11. They're still RB1s to me either way. The matchup definitely favors Jeff Wilson. I just think ETN's just a much better talent.
Yeah, but
So that's just me. And he
I
has
think the
less
defense is
competition.
a little bit better now.
Yeah, I mean, he's not competing with Hill or Jalen Waddle for targets or end zones or,
Yeah.
for his QB's, you know, good graces, if you will. So give me ETN. He's pretty much all they got there. So he's saying, LOL, thanks guys. Looking forward to your lives. Thanks again. Yeah, man, we're here Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, typically from about anywhere from 8 or 9 p.m., depending on the day. We usually go for about an hour or two, usually 2 hours. Who am I going to lie? I'm not going to lie. We're usually on for about 2 hours. So hopefully we can catch you. And then we also do a Sunday morning show with my boy Classic Mike. We do our last minute start sits Sunday morning. And we've collabed with Dynasty Pylon as well, but you can check either one of us out. Come over to ours, get our opinion, jump over to Martin's, get his opinion as well. His link's there in the chat. So make sure you guys go sub over there as well. So let's go ahead and get out of here, man. I'm going to turn the floor over to you. Tell the people here where they can find you and all that good stuff. What you got going on. I did mention your Build the Blocks League. If you want to tell them a little bit about that as well too. I mentioned that early in the stream, but I'll give it to you. There you go, man. Tell them.
All right. Well, I mean, right now we're just Dynasty Pylon. Put in the link right there. I don't have like my actual links, all of it right now, but I mean we focus more on individual defensive players. Like if you're not familiar with that, it's basically your linebackers, defensive line, DBs. Like you get points for everything that they do rather than the whole defense. So it's kind of new to the game. I taught Anthony and he loves it. It's definitely different. I know them boys, if you're in here, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And he mentioned the Build the Blocks League. I know we're also dynasty focused. So if you play Madden franchise mode, that's dynasty. So most of us degenerates already know about that. But so the Build the Blocks League, it's I'm rolling it out next year. And I know Anthony, you didn't like the fact that I didn't invite you, but
You ghosted me on the beta test.
I did, but I didn't want too many. And Dem Boys was always like hounding me on it. And he goes, "Hey man, when you starting it? When you start?" I'm like, you know what? All right. You asked nicely. I'll let you in. But no, we love Dem Boys. He's a good guy. But basically once a week you start with one guy. Week 1, you start with one. It could be any of your choice. You draft quarterback or whatever. It's just what single round draft, and then come back to the following week, reverse waiver order. We'll just do as add-ons. Like you just draft a guy. I mean, it's not really in a draft room, but you're just kind of like what you add, like when you pick up a free agent. So that's basically what we do. And each week you add on one guy. And that's what we're doing, and all the way until you get your full roster. So we are now officially to a point where it's now week 12. So now we have backups to what our starters now,
Nice.
depending on the IR situation of injuries. So it's basically once you get an injury, you're kind of screwed. But I'm rolling that out. I did something new this year with Guillotine League, including with IDP, and Anthony's still in it. Congrats, dude. Um it's there's what 7 of you now, so that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. But yeah, no, it's fun. We're not your typical fantasy football show. We like to mess around a little bit over there too. So yeah, these guys are more serious. Like it's strict nitty gritty. fantasy football and stuff like that. We during the off season we play more games and stuff, and college dynasty. Like I'm already behind on college stuff, so I should be rolling that out pretty soon. So, but yeah,
Nice.
that's pretty much it, man.
There it is, man. And again, we got the link in the description. Make sure you guys go check them out. We're gonna get you guys added to our website here soon when we get the update. Go ahead. What else you got?
More. I think so the custom jerseys.
Ooh,
Right, for the
you
Dynasty
guys getting
Pylon ones
close?
that you haven't been
Yeah,
able to. I
with
think
the guy.
you've been in both raffles and you still haven't won yet.
Nah, it's okay. I'd rather let the people win.
It's all good,
I just
man.
need you to hook me up with the guy. That's all.
I we'll see. He's but
I know
so
he's backed up. He's backed up.
every single 100 subs we're giving out a raffle for a jersey of your choice, the team of your choice. But it says Dynasty Pylon on the back. It's a Stitch jersey, and I think the next one coming up is the number 3. So every one we add, we increase number. Why? Because we've already given out 2. So I mean, they're nice. They're clean. And it's your team of choice. So that's what we do every 100 subs. So
For sure. That's awesome, man. I'm gonna read my last couple of promos here, man. Just again, make sure you guys get in the description too, and follow our partner channels. Again, we have the Check Down podcast with Cody McGoats and the fellas. We got WAGMI Fantasy Football, and then we got the guys over at the Fantasy Frontline podcast. You can catch all these podcasts here on Get Right Fantasy Network, in addition to our main show here with myself, Classic Mike, Dustin, and Fish and Frank. So yeah, man. So again, we'll be back here on Friday. We'll do your start sits. We'll react to these games that happen tomorrow. Otherwise, I want to wish everybody out there in Get Right Land a very happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the time with friends and family, or whatever you guys do. And again, if you guys need anything from us, you can catch us on the Get Right Fantasy Sleeper channel. Again, it's in the description. The link's at the very top. You can upload, pictures of your team, any trade questions, start sit, whatever it is you want. Instead of kind of maybe getting trolled on some of the other stuff or not getting your questions really answered, you can get it done from here, who are all people here that are part of the channel. Martin's in there, Tycoon, Dim Boys, all these guys that you see here, they're down to answer these questions for you guys. We're all degenerates, man. We love playing some fantasy football, and we're here all to help you out, so you can bring home those championships, man. So other than that, we'll get out of here. Again, catch us on Friday, and then we'll be back again Sunday morning for your last minute start sit. So again, for myself, for Classic Mike, for Frank, for Dustin, and for my boy here who jumped on with me, Martin, over here at Dynasty Pylon, man. Really appreciate you guys. Happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you back here on Friday. Peace out.
good luck, guys.